this year. It is Washington at Washington State. We've got it live from Martin Stadium in Pullman. College football Saturday on FSN. And hello, Brian Davis alongside the answer to an Apple Cup trivia question. The only Apple Cup alumnus ever to go on to become an MVP in the Super Bowl. Mark Rypien did that with the Washington Redskins. But let's talk, Rip, about what playing in this game means to these guys.
Well, it just shows you right here on the Washington State campus, the atmosphere, how electrifying it really is, Brian. And the one thing you look at here for these players is some of these guys, maybe the last time they put a football uniform on. For others, there'll be more Apple Cups. And even for some, there might be a gifted after. These gifted few might play Sunday afternoons in the NFL, but this is what it's all about.
So many guys hurt, don't really know what to expect in this game, but there is a lot on the line for both sides.
Absolutely, and if you can't relish in this as a coach, player, and a fan, I think you're in the wrong business. This is what this game's all about, and we'll see today what these two teams are about.
Now, there are always certain storylines that grab your attention. How about the starting quarterback for Washington, Carl Bonnell, in place of the injured Isaiah Stanback? He started his career in crimson and gray.
He was. For about 2 or 3 weeks here, he had crimson and gray on his mind, but I tell you right now, his numbers aren't really great. He's struggled a little bit, but this is the biggest game he'll ever play in his life. And I look forward to him playing like all of us. This is huge, and this is an impacted game, and I look forward to him to play well.
On the other side of the line of scrimmage, there is a guy who would really like to say hello, the senior defensive end, M. Christo Bruce.
What a year he's had. Started off with just unbelievably on fire. He's got 2 of his big guys back in the middle, and I look to see a lot of one-on-one on the outside, and that's where the big M shines.
Might give him a chance. He's gone 5 weeks without a sack. Might give him a chance to get after the quarterback. Washington holds a decided advantage in the series history, but today as they play for the 99th time, Washington State's got a chance to make it 3 in a row for the first time ever. Washington State feels it needs to win this game to secure a bowl berth. The Cougars fired up. Partly sunny today in the Palouse. Temperatures in the middle 40s, will be in the middle 30s by the time this is all over. Washington at 4-7 has a chance to finish within a couple of games of 500. And this is a team that was 1-9 2 years ago and 2-9 last year in the first under Tyrone Willingham. Not raining, not snowing. We know that Kara Capuano is on the sideline, appreciates that this afternoon. Kara, good afternoon.
Oh, thank heavens there's no precipitation, Brian. That is for sure. But I'll tell you what, it's cold as a dickens down here. Seeing those players run out of the tunnel reminded me of something Coach Doba said earlier in the week. He said he never feels the pressure and intensity of the rivalry until he runs out, sees the other team, and gets all fired up. What are these two teams playing for today? As you mentioned, the invitation to the postseason for Washington State. Pride for Washington, but there's also the Apple Cup Trophy. 99th meeting between these teams, 45th time that they played for that gorgeous piece of hardware. Brian, we had to show you pictures of it because Washington State is protecting it. They're guarding it in their equipment room. There's no way they're bringing that baby out until the game is over, and they hope they have a chance to keep that trophy for a 3rd straight year for the first time in program history.
No chance for mischief this afternoon. Tyrone Willingham from Kinston, North Carolina, grew up in Jacksonville. Started his coaching career as a graduate assistant at his alma mater, Michigan State. Wound up coaching running backs at Stanford with the Minnesota Vikings. Became a head coach for the first time at Stanford in 1995, then to Notre Dame, and again now in his 2nd season at the University of Washington. Bill Doba succeeded Mike Price a couple of years ago, said that after the Huskies beat him in his first Apple Cup, he called it just another ball game. He said, we got beat. He said, you would not believe the mail we got. One guy said, you go to your bowl game, I hope your plane crashes. This is not, Mark Rypien, just another ball game.
No, and I think, Coach, once he said that, he probably wanted to stick his foot in his mouth, and he heard from a lot of people after that. But I think he sees the magnitude of this game, and he relishes. And he told me yesterday, he said he wants his kids to enjoy this experience, really get this experience, enjoy it, and have fun while they're doing it.
Keys to success brought to you by Pacific Life. What do you think?
Well, I think for the University of Washington, don't turn the football over. You can't give the Cougs any chance in this hostile environment. Turn the ball over will give them advantageous. Big plays on special teams. I don't think they can match up both sides of the football as well as Washington State, so they got to do it elsewhere. Special teams will be a big play. For the Cougars, the reason why they lost their last 2 football games, according to Coach Dober, is their inability to run the football. They need $150 today, Brian, in order for them to get this win here, and the pressure on the quarterback. They have to put a lot of pressure on a young quarterback who's looking to make big plays today, needs to come up big, but Christo Bruce will be big if the Cougs can put pressure on Mr. Bonnell.
Washington State started 6-3, then lost to Arizona and was blown out by Arizona State. After a 4-1 start, Washington has lost 6 consecutive, including 20-3 last week at home to Stanford.
Well, they
Huskies,
lost their big gun, too.
Well, Isaiah Stanback, his absence felt huge in the Puget Sound. Washington won the coin toss and deferred to Washington State. Michael Bronstein, the senior out of Gilbert, Arizona, the center of some controversy this week, which we will explain as we go along. And we are underway. Charles Dillon tracking into his own end zone and does not get out to the 20-yard line. Alex Brink for Washington State, number 2 in the Pac-10 in total offense. He is 2-0 against the Washington Huskies in this game. He has passed for 523 yards and 4 touchdowns. Backs and receivers for the Huskies, or rather for the Cougars. They come into this stadium. They could have come in an ambulance rather than the bus. Injuries to a receiving core has cost the Cougs 100 catches and 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns as well. That offensive line, give them credit. They have held together 6 different combinations the first 8 weeks. They've been, though, together the last 3 weeks. Coming into this ball game, Brink under severe pressure in the end. Grayson Gunheim, the defensive end, the junior out of Sebastopol, California, with the pressure on Brink, forcing him to throw it away. The Huskies front 7 missing some key guys, but respect what Scott White says, the linebacker. You know, misery loves company, and right now in a 6-game losing streak, we want to spread that misery around to the Cougs. The defensive backs for Washington have only 3 of their 10 interceptions, and remember that Washington State likes to go vertical.
Absolutely.
Dwight Tardy around the corner, tracked down from the backside by Grayson Gunheim. Again, a 2-yard gain, bringing up 3rd down and long.
Well, last 15 University of Washington Husky turnovers have only amounted to 16 points. That means the defense is playing very, very well for the Huskies. They need to find something on offense to get them over the hump.
Gunheim, 5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss to lead Washington. He has had a little less of a season than the coaches had expected. Gets pressure, but often does not get home. So on 3rd down, Cougars 36%, 7th in the Pac-10 on 3rd down. Pressure from either side in the middle of the field. Michael Bumpus is back, and the Cougars line up and makes a huge catch straight down Main Street. Brink to Bumpus.
Well, I know a lot of people are pretty excited to see Michael Bumpus in there. He was questionable coming into this game. Only practiced, is not going to be returning any kicks of any sort, but said he would play offensively. It's nice to see him out there, and I'm sure Alex Brink surely enjoys him out there.
A 14-yard play for the junior out of Culver City, California. Jed Collins, the tight end, in motion. Washington State will play double tight often today, and Tardy finds a seam. Gains 5 or give him 6. As he cuts out across the 30-yard line to the 32. Dwight Tardy, 4.5 yards a carry by average, 3 touchdowns, 1 receiving. A running game has let the Cougars down the last couple of weeks.
Well, and that's the reason why you lose 2 football games. You know, one of the things, the bread and butter, is winning the line of scrimmage, rushing the football. They haven't been able to do that, and that's 2 consecutive losses to Arizona schools.
59 yards last week at Arizona State. On play action, Brink rolling to the right side and looking. The pass is knocked down. He was looking for either Collins. He also downfield had the sophomore Brandon Gibson, but so far Washington applying some pressure here off of play action.
Very athletic, you know, running to the football, taking the play action fake here. Alex Brink looking downfield. Nice play by
Scott White, the senior linebacker out of Lemon Grove, California. Remember, he said misery loves company.
Absolutely.
So on 3rd down, Washington has given it up only 32% of the time this year for a team that's lost 6 in a row. Pretty good. 4th in the Pac-10, in and out of the hands of Cody Boyd, the tight end, closely guarded by the nickelback Mesfin Forrester, who sealed an early season victory over Fresno State with a fourth-quarter interception. It is 4th down, and Washington State will give it up.
Well, nice play here, just man-to-man across the board, bringing some pressure up the middle, and on the outside, Alex Brink, quick 3, 4, 5-step drop, getting the ball underneath, and it looked like he was hanging on Cody Boyd a little bit there, but no call.
Darrell Blunt, sophomore out of Los Angeles, transferred from Portland State. High snap, some pressure. Blunt gets it away, though. Marlon Wood appeared to signal, let it go, but it grabs it and crosses the 35-yard line. First down now for the Washington Huskies.
Good pressure there by the Huskies, trying to block the punt. I actually ran into the kicker, but the referee said he was blocked into him, so no call on the play.
Carl Bonnell, the junior from Kent, Washington, outside Seattle, a star at Kentwood High School.
What a big game for him today.
On Washington's first play from scrimmage, Kenny James piling into the line for 3 from sold-out Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington. College football Saturday on FSN with Mark Rippon and Kara Capuano. I'm Brian Davis. Pac-10 football, the Apple Cup, one of the great rivalries in college sports. Washington State is bidding for 3 consecutive victories over their cross-state rivals for the first time, and they are playing, remember this, they are playing for the 99th time. Polite, the fullback, in an offset. James hit in the backfield and dropped. Tyron Brackenridge on the corner blitz with help from Lance Brodus. A minus play. It'll be 3rd down and long. Washington's offense, directed by Carl Bonnell, who came to Washington State as the all-time leading passer in Washington 4A. That's the big class, Washington 4A history, but he followed his heart to Washington. We continue our Kyocera starting lineups with the skilled guys. The Huskies with only 52 rushing yards in the last 2 weeks, 7 drops a week ago in that shocking loss to Stanford. Offensive line young, but they've only allowed 17 sacks on the season. Bonnell from the shotgun will go downfield for Anthony Russo. Overthrew it. Russo in position, had the seam in double coverage, but it's incomplete. 3 and out for the Huskies.
Had to throw it a little sooner than he wanted to. Pressure up the middle. And Christo Bruce, like I said, this is a big game for him. You can see he's jacked up. Puts a little bit of pressure up the middle. Has to throw a little sooner than he wants. Ball out of bounds.
Sean Douglas, who set a Washington record with an 82-yard punt early in the season, averaging 43 yards a kick, but by net, Washington 34 yards a punt. That is 8th in the Pac-10. They have had coverage problems. Again, a high snap, good pressure is picked up, and Dillon tracking back as this one will roll into the end zone for a touchback.
Wow, pretty impressive.
So these teams, Apple Cup rivals, trying to find a rhythm early in the first quarter. Not quite 5 minutes in, scoreless at Martin Stadium. Alex Brink, the junior out of Eugene, Oregon, extending the snap count. Spreading the defense. Works as Daryl Hutsana blows across the line of scrimmage, turns the corner, and has a first down. They'll give him 11 yards on the play. The motion pulled the Washington defense apart, and Hutsana makes them pay.
Yeah, 3 wide receivers, just a quick 3-step drop, making it look like pass. Handing underneath to Hutsana. Looks a little bit like Jerome Harrison on that one.
Does he look like he's got a high ankle sprain to you?
Not one bit, if it is, and I'd hate to see him when he's healthy.
They have a couple of significant injuries in the backfield at Washington State. Hutsana with the high ankle sprain. Demondre Woolridge started like a house of fire. He's had a series of injuries, and off of play action, Brink will scramble, tripped up by Wilson Afoa, the defensive tackle, the junior out of Honolulu.
Good coverage, good pressure by the Huskies, and Alex Brink did the next thing he had, put it down underneath and try to get what he can.
We talk about Bonnell moving to Washington. Bill Doba says, listen now, we gave his scholarship to Alex Brink, so it has worked out well for us.
Absolutely.
Lost a couple on the place. don't know if Raffol will get credit for a quarterback sack. It would be his second, and Tardy now, as they go to kind of a thunder and lightning rhythm in the backfield for Washington State, gains 3 to bring up 3rd down and 8. So 3rd and long again. Washington bringing some lumber on the contact.
Little counter tray motion here. Great job filling the hole. C.J. Wallace doing a nice job at the strong safety position, filling the hole, making the tackle.
Wallace, 94 tackles on the season. He leads Washington, 10 tackles for loss. Motion by the tight end Collins. Brink on a 5-step drop. Bails out to Tardy, who is wrapped up and brought down. Deshaun Goldson, the senior quarterback out of Carson, California, holds his ground and makes the play to force Washington State to punt again.
Yeah, hard to pick up 3rd and 10s, Brian. You got to get a little bit more on 1st down. 2nd down, you need to get in that 3rd and 3 or 4 range in order to be successful. They're very soft on coverage and did a nice job protecting the 1st down lane, checking it off, and then tackling on the play.
Huskies brought the house when Blunt kicked first time around. Boy, he gets close to the line of scrimmage, 33 yards, and this one takes a sideways bounce. And Washington again will start this drive with decent field position. Fading daylight, a beautiful fall afternoon in the Palouse. Washington and Washington State scoreless. Washington football from its own 36-yard line after a 28-yard punt by Darrell Blunt. What do you remember about playing in the Apple Cup?
Well, 5 times I was there, and 3 out of the 5 we came out on top. So 3 very fun Saturday afternoons, Saturday evenings after a win against the Huskies. 99
meetings, but this series dates better than 100 years. Bonnell victimized last week by 7 drops, this time right into the breadbasket of the junior receiver Cody Ellis, named this week for the 3rd time to the Pac-10 All-Academic team. Ellis with 15 catches, give him 16 now. That's 3rd on the team. That's a light number for a guy who's 3rd on the stats chart.
Well, I think, Tim Lopano, the offensive coordinator for the Huskies, one of the things he has to do is get Carl Bonnell into the flow of the game. Throw some of those short routes, take some of the pressure off him, make some completions, get the running game going, and get him settled early.
Give him some confidence. Now Sonny Shackelford slot to the left side, and they call the number of the running back, Kenny James, blasting across the 45-yard line to the 47. 1st down for James, the senior out of Dos Palos, California. James last week seemed to lack some explosion getting across the line of scrimmage, was ankle tackled a couple of times, and Washington, as a result, only managed 39 rushing yards.
From what I read from the paper, I think the whole team lacked some explosion last week against the Cardinals.
One of those letdown games, and after you've been in a long losing streak, sometimes that can happen. But Bonnell has a 1st down to work with. Johnny Curtin in motion. Bonnell stumbles, but he gets good protection down the field. The pass is in and out of the hands of Anthony Russo. He was drilled after he caught the pass by Hussein Abdullah, the junior out of Pomona, California. But what's the old rule? If you touch it, you should catch it.
Yeah, but he threw it late. And as you throw it late, Russo's already 2 or 3 steps back on his return, and the ball is high, and you throw that thing early, and I tell you, you got an easy completion there.
Rob Akey, the longtime defensive coordinator here. If you're Akey and you know that Bonnell is playing with a quadriceps injury that limits his mobility, you bring the house a little bit, a lot of pressure.
Absolutely.
James, if he can get out of Dodge a little bit, can loosen things up for Bonnell, and he's out to the 50-yard line, be 2nd down and 7.
If you can't run the football, Brian, they are going to be able to pin their ears back and come after Mr. Bonnell, and that could be a long day for the Huskies.
James had 84 yards at USC. That was a 6-point loss. He had 83 at Oregon State, or against Oregon State, and then he was injured in the Cal game, missed 2 games, so he's been a little slow to come back. Washington facing 3rd and long.
Well, 4 of their 7 losses have been on the road against Oklahoma, SC, Cal, and Oregon. Tough places to win anyway.
6 points to SC. Overtime to Cal. Brodus gets his hands up, and Matt Eichelberger nearly has the interception.
Rapati.
Check that. Rapati Patoa had it in and out of his hands. He's one of the injured Cougars players. back in the lineup today. Brodus tipped it. Peto'atua nearly paid it off with a pick.
Yeah, it's just good pressure on the outside. Actually, Carl Bonnell just needed to step up in the pocket instead of come outside. He actually got himself in more trouble by trying to break the pocket.
They have to give him an extra size on that helmet to accommodate all that hair. Not that I'm jealous or anything.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. He could give us both a little bit.
He's got 7 tackles for loss, but has missed time because of a knee injury. Ayamu, another defensive tackle, has only played twice this year. And again, Douglas uncorks a beauty, but too much. Great form, good-looking kick, but too long. Washington State starts with a touchback. We return mid-first in Pullman. Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington. Alex Brink in the early going.
A lot of defense.
2 of 5, 16 yards, and yes, sir. Butsana forced to slow down by Donnie Matiaki and then finished off by Daniel Teonesheim, a redshirt freshman out of Waikoloa, Hawaii, a guy who has earned high marks all season long for his effort and at times, big times, his performance.
Yeah, just a little line stunt by the Huskies enabled him to get outside and string the play along and make the play, and that's something the Cougars want to get Butsana outside with, but on that particular play, the Huskies stunted into it.
Lost 5 on the play, pressure again, a screen though set up well. Tardy blown up by Deshaun Goldson, stepped past Scott White, and then Goldson coming straight downhill to stop Tardy shy of the 30-yard line, though a 14-yard play brings up 3rd and short.
Well, when you got a team that's playing a lot of adrenaline, a lot of excitement, enthusiasm, screen plays are usually one of the things. Coach Levenseller, I think, felt that a little bit. Brinks had a little bit too much pressure the first 2 series. Throw a little screen play, take a little pressure off. Those guys pinning their ears back, coming after him.
Running the football, Tardy has had the Cougars' best 2 days. 145 yards at Oregon, 97 against Stanford. Washington stacking the line of scrimmage, and he does not get it, and a penalty flag thrown in the middle of all that to boot.
That's got to be holding. It's not offside, maybe a face mask.
It is a face mask against Washington. David Kutane is the referee this afternoon. Kataya is the referee. Pac-10 veteran.
Five-yard face mask, number 35 in the defense. 5-yard penalty. The yardage results in a first down.
That was the conversation. Was it a 5-yarder or was it a personal foul? C.J. Wallace. Take a look in the middle of all of that. Somebody asked C.J. Wallace this week, think of the Apple Cup, what comes to mind? He says, hate. Swing pass out to Dillon. Charles Dillon, only his 9th catch of the season, but again, no Jason Hill, no Chris Jordan, 2 senior receivers. Bumpus just back, had a big catch earlier. He leaves the field here on 2nd down and 7 yards to go. So they have started to go a little bit more to Dillon and also to Brandon Gibson.
Well, these guys will be playing in years to come. They got to make plays here. What a better setting to make a big play and become a hero in a big game like this.
Tardy slowed up by Wallace and then finished off by a couple of his Washington teammates. Tardy, a redshirt freshman out of Santa Fe Springs, California. First down marker brought to you by Overstock.com, where you'll find thousands of name brand products at savings of up to 70% every day of the week. Overstock.com.
Another big 3rd down for Washington State.
Again in manageable territory. 3rd down and short. Brink is 4 of 7, 33 yards. And he'll throw again. Looking for Gibson. Caught in Washington territory. Drilled by Goldson and Jason Wells. But the biggest play from scrimmage of the afternoon gives Washington State a first down at the Washington 37-yard line, 21 yards.
Again, nice job by Alex looking the safety off and throwing the seams there. And that just comes down to Brian. 3rd down and 3 to 4 or 5 range. They can't sit in that soft cover 4, quarters, quarters, quarters. They play a cover 3 look. Seams start opening up. Nice throw there by Alex Brink. Good catch by Brandon Gibson.
Last 3 games, Gibson, 18 catches, 263 yards, had all 3 of his touchdowns in that stretch. The ball is out. Washington says it has possession, and it is Huskies football. Scott White showing some of that senior leadership. Cougars turn it over, and the drive dies right there.
Well, I noticed on the first 3rd down, I mean, it's just the center's just trying to make a reach block and getting out there, and sometimes when you do that, you shorten your arms up and you short snap it, and Alex Brink, especially when he's trying to get the ball outside, has to stay with the center a little bit more, and in doing so, he didn't, and the ball separated and the ball came loose.
Cougars on the pass to the tight end. Even more regretting the fumble as Michael Gottlieb, the sophomore out of Mercer Island, just outside on an island literally in Lake Washington across the I-90 bridge from Seattle, with his biggest play, I believe, of the year, because he'd only caught a couple of passes coming into the ball game. He was hurt the first week of the season.
That's what play action does. It brings those linebackers in there and get the ball over the top versus that cover 2 the Cougs are in, and get it in up and down to the tight end before the safeties get over.
27 yards, and James stopped near the line of scrimmage and held to no gain. Rodas got good push. Greg Trent, the linebacker, was also pretty much first to the point of attack. Sophomore out of Keller, Texas, just outside of Fort Worth.
Well, they just didn't block M. Christo Bruce, and that gave James nowhere to go except back to the inside. Nice job by M. Christo keeping the play contained, keeping them inside. Nice job rallying football by the Cougs.
This is a trend for Washington. James has carried the ball 5 times for 7 yards here in the first quarter.
I think they only had 50, 60 yards against the Cardinal last week.
5 receivers now for the Huskies. Shackelford sneaks up next to the left tackle, Ben Osai. Pressure from the edge from Broadus. The pass intercepted and dropped by Eric Frampton. He was going, Bonnell was, for Cody Ellis. Frampton had the sure pick, and you know Akey has got to be up and down and a little hotter than that ski parka.
Well, they had basically man-to-man on the outside, cover 0, which means no safety in the middle, man-to-man everywhere. Carl Bonnell just has to put that ball out there. There is no safety to come underneath. Unless you throw it short, then you can come underneath it like Frampton did. But they had no one deep, man-to-man on everybody. Carl Bonnell just got to make that ball, throw that ball further downfield. Injuries
on the defensive line have forced the Cougars to go to a 34 front. That's what they're in right now, and they're sprinting out. Bonnell moving the pocket. A bullet to Marcel Reese, the junior college transfer. Sparingly used, but a big play there inside the 25-yard line. 12-yard play, first down Washington. The Huskies are knocking on the door of the red zone. Well, I think so. After a big play to the tight end, the Cougars came back with a blitz, almost an interception. Cougars a little softer coverage here. Nice call by Tim LaPano. Get his quarterback outside the pocket, away from any pressure. Good throw and a good catch. Bonnell 3 of 7, 45 yards, most of that on this drive here. Shackelford, the Huskies' leading receiver, in the slot to the left side. Reese on the outside, and again Bonnell. This time he'll throw against the grain. The receiver fell down. He was going again for Gottlieb. It'll be second down and 10. Yeah, just a little try to misdirection throwback here. Sprinting out to the strong side, throwing back to his tight end, coming back to the weak side. Now you see Gottlieb slip as he did. This is a new surface this year, with all that ground up rubber, very slippery until they get some weather, some rain, and out here some snow to settle that down. But they have not had much weather in 2006. So it's still at times like a skating rink out there, and coaches are worried about that. When it gets cold and the dew's going to sit on there, and it's going to be like a skating rink here later on in this football game. We'll have to watch for that. 2 tight ends, James to the left side and stopped after a gain of just 2 yards. It'll be third down and 8. Scott Davis the strong side linebacker, playing with a broken wrist in this game. Senior out of the Tri-Cities area, Kennewick, Washington, along the Columbia River. He would not miss this game for the world.
That reminds me a little bit of Will Durting, you know, when he had played with a cast on. This football game, for sure, specifically this one, there ain't no way he's going to miss this one.
Look at the weather statistics, but again, the operative point is that there is no precipitation. We have seen rain, we have seen snow. We have seen Bonnell misfire again, but a penalty marker down, and the play clock may have expired.
Yeah, they're going to get another chance at this.
Prior to the snap, dead ball, delay of game on the offense. 5 yards.
Now this might be another time where Coach Akey comes after the Huskies to try to knock them out of field goal range here. It's a good time to blitz. 3rd and long, sack the quarterback, get them back there so they can't kick a field goal. I'd look for the Cougs to put pressure on.
Washington 1 of 3 on 3rd down. Their average distance to gain has been 11 yards. Short drop, pressure both sides, and down goes Carl Bonnell. And Christo Bruce, the senior from Renton, Washington, with his first sack in 6 weeks, playing with a bum knee. That gives him 11 on the season.
Well, just too long, Brian, for this play to develop. Receivers getting downfield 15 to 20 yards, and as you drop back and wait for a receiver to come open, it doesn't happen with them Christo Bruce out there.
That puts an exclamation mark. We thought on the end of the first quarter, but Michael Bronstein is going to kick a 50-yarder here. Now the officiating crew realizes that time has expired.
Cougar coaching staff knew it was expired.
Bronstein has kicked 8 in a row. This will be one of his longest attempts of the year. And Christo Bruce making good after the Cougars turned the ball over, and defense has been a big part of the story early on. Scoreless first quarter in the Apple Cup. Start of the second quarter, Brian Davis, Mark Rippon, Kara Capuano with more on M. Christo Bruce.
Well, guys, he is a semifinalist for the 3rd annual Ronnie Lott Trophy. That's awarded to college football's Defensive Impact Player of the Year. If there's one game in his entire college career in which Bruce wants to make an impact, it's this one. His final home game, final Apple Cup. This is a kid from the west side of the Cascades who had to come out here at Washington State, the only Pac-10 school to recruit him, and he has really made a name for himself. And he said, even bigger than a bowl game, this is his college game. This is the culmination for him, Brian.
Grew up in a home with about 11 or 12 people in a house with 1 bathroom. Modest circumstances indeed for Bruce, who is as charismatic and as engaging as you're going to see. And Washington now to pooch the ball, or exactly what are they going to do? Sean Douglas is
trying to get him to jump off sides, and they'll take the delay of game and
give him a little bit of room to operate. And that's exactly what the situation is, as the Huskies try to confuse Washington State. Now Douglas leaves the field to talk to his
delay game offense. 5 yards, 4th down.
Talk to his coaches, and now we assume that he will get into punt formation. Again, he has blasted a couple. Now kicking into the wind, which is why they take the ball off of Bronstein's foot out of placement. Douglas has knocked a couple stiff. 60 yards his last time, but
Cougs refused a penalty, which Mr. Douglas will probably won't appreciate. He'll take away from his net.
In which case, don't you just aim for the sideline?
Dang, coffin corner.
That's going to turn out just fine.
It was blocked.
For the Huskies. Got tipped. Brodus was in. Didn't put a lot on it inside the 5. Long drive coming for Washington State. Broadus got off his man and did get a hand on it. That turns into a 29-yard punt. But for Douglas, that's also the 21st that he's had down inside the 20-yard line. Time now for our Aflac trivia. Aflac! We talk about Alex Brink trying to become the first Cougars quarterback to beat the Huskies 3 straight. Who did it the other way? Who is the first Husky quarterback to beat Washington State 3 consecutive times? Brink in trouble, but is bailed out by Dillon. Tries to make a move on the linebacker Dan Howell and then is cleaned up, but chicken salad out of chicken something else for Washington State as Dillon came back and helped out his quarterback.
That was a nice job by Dillon coming back to the football. Alex Brink buying a little bit of time there and throwing it outside. Looks like they're going for it all here, trying to get the tight end down the middle of the field. Nice job of Alex Brink getting it outside.
Teo Nesheim did a great job of getting back up after his cut block. At the line of scrimmage, Tardy bounces outside, but there is Scott White to finish up. C.J. Wallace stayed in the neighborhood after the play. A penalty marker.
I'm impressed by the Husky speed on defense, Brian. I mean, looks like there's plays where Tardy.
After the play was over, dead ball, personal foul defense, number 66. 15-yard penalty in the run, automatic first down.
Teo Nesheim, a redshirt freshman, a very emotional player, has really made a difference in the Huskies' front 7 this year, although the results wouldn't necessarily speak to that. But critical mistake that gives the Cougars much better field position.
Job Tardy looks like he's got a lot of room, a lot of places to go, and he just comes in a little bit late here.
What he did was he barreled over Brandon Gibson.
Yeah, well, I don't know about barreling.
You know what? And that's the thing. That was a close one.
That's like a kid hustling and bumps a kid about half his size.
Tardy puts on a couple of moves, runs through a couple of tackles, and is out to the 35-yard line. A 7-yard play.
Again, that's a key. Washington State's ability to run the football will give them an opportunity to make some big plays later on.
Tardy has 6 carries, 24 yards. Washington State, in 24 out of 25 games, dating back a while, of course, has put together 80-plus yard.
That's impressive.
This would be 95, and that's one thing. It'll wear the other guy down, and Washington very thin defensively, especially in the secondary.
That's where it wears on in. Right now, they look healthy and fine, but you do that 2 or 3 drives a game. By the 4th quarter.
Play action, Bumpus very close to the first down. Dillon out blocking for him, and again the Huskies flying to the football. Deshaun Goldson finishes the play, and it'll be 3rd down.
Michael goes to the sideline. Looks like his high ankle sprain re-injured himself again there as he sits on the sidelines, and I don't know if it's the same injury he had prior to this, Brian, but that's a big loss for the Cougs.
Bumpus out of the Washington State lineup hurts the Cougars a couple of different ways. He is a terrific punt returner as well.
Yeah, and I think Coach was just going to use him today specifically 3rd down and as a 3rd receiver, and wasn't going to use him as a
off the spot of the football. They do give the Cougars a first down.
It looks like it happened on his cut there, where when he make that last little cut inside, he turned on his left ankle and he's walking around here trying to looks like he's trying to get it back and see if he can make a play here later on, but he's a little bit dinged right now.
6 first downs this afternoon for Washington State against 3 for Washington. Brink, a little misdirection. Gunheim chasing, and Brink throwing it away. Jordan Reffett out of Moses Lake, the defensive tackle, had pressure from the backside. Gunheim got off his man and forced Brink to throw this one to the sidelines.
A little misdirection, getting Alex Brink out of the pocket to his left side, and I'm very impressed with the Huskies' defensive speed right now, Brian. I hadn't seen them play much this year, and right now, with the way their offense is going, I could see why they've been in a lot of football games. They got very good defensive speed and some young kids that can play.
question, though, of course, is can they sustain it?
That is the question.
Tardy off the pitch, barrels across the 40-yard line. Huskies substituting, going to a nickel defense, an extra defensive back. Tardy gets 3 yards, continues to move the clock, continues to make Washington work.
Big third down here. One for the Husky defense and one for the Cougar offense to keep this drive going. They started back at their 5-yard line.
Make it 6 defensive backs. Dime White is showing blitz as Washington lines up with a 3-man front. Here comes E.J. Savannah. They throw to the other side. Bumpus has it across the 50-yard line for another first down. They threw to the weak side of the field. Bumpus pays it off with his 3rd catch of the afternoon. A valiant effort. 3 balls now for him, 26 yards.
Yeah, I tell you what, Michael Bumpus come out of the game with a little limp there on 3rd down a while ago. Came back, made a big play here. The Huskies came with corner blitz off the weak side, but couldn't get to Alex Brinks. Good execution there by the Cougars, making a quick decision, a quick throw, picking up the first down.
Tardy flagged down from behind by Scott White, and he is having himself an afternoon. Penalty marker thrown after the conclusion of the play. But the man who said misery loves company. We're miserable, we'll try to make them so as well.
Yeah, he's a heck of a football player. You know, one of the guys that probably is considered for a little
First down marker brought to you by Overstock.com. Whether you order a big screen TV or a comfy leather chair, it all ships for only $2.95. Shop and save at Overstock.com. They waved off the penalty. Swing pass is dropped by Gibson. Was it behind him? No, it was a forward pass. Otherwise, it would have been a live ball. White coming like a freight train. Straight downhill, as they say in football. Well, Gibson, I think, may have heard some footsteps.
Yeah, the Cougs are lucky that ball was thrown forward because, you know, Scott White's a guy that is an energizer bunny. He's going to go, 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 go until they blow the whistle.
After Michael Bumpus, Gibson is the only wide receiver on the Washington State 2-deep coming into this game who has a catch.
That's all more important to run the football. Take some of the pressure off Alex Brink. He's got guys out there that haven't been there before.
Gibson now in the slot to the right side. Cody Boyd, the tight end, near a first down. And off the spot of the football, they will give it to him. Boyd has played 9 games this season, 25 catches. The senior out of Ferndale, Washington, up near the Canadian border. He's a guy who has also crossed the Cascades to here make a big play for the Cougars.
Well, those are two other guys with the Cougar wide receiving core being banged up here now. Jed Collins and Cody Boyd are 2 guys that I think have to make plays here for the Cougars today, along with the running game if they're going to be successful, Brian.
An 11-yard play. Washington overloaded, Washington State overloaded with tight ends to the left side. Brink looking for Dillon, and Deshaun Goldson has it and can't hang on as he falls at the goal line. Goldson with a chance for the pick as he rose up over Dillon, but all of that, a lot of noise for an incomplete pass.
Yeah, basically a play action double post by the Cougar receivers here, and ball just sailed a little bit on Alex Brink. Brandon Gibson coming down the field here, taking one of the safeties out of there. Backside receiver running the other post. Great coverage, great hustle by the Huskies, almost making the interception. Ball a little high.
For Goldson, his 10th pass breakup of the year. It's a guy who started out very limited in 2006 because of a high ankle sprain. It took him about 3 weeks to get right. More play action. Brink throws to the right side. Dillon leaps to make the catch. Runs past Goldson down the sideline. Clobbered by Mesfin Forrester. But he reaches the line to gain, and the Cougars with another first down. Dillon, 3 catches, 17 yards.
Well, this is big. You know, I mean, the Huskies do a nice job in their zone coverage. You want the Cougars to throw underneath and come up and make the tackle. And the one thing the Cougars have to do in a situation like that are yards after catch. Catching the football, turning, and getting the first down, just what Dillon did right there.
Let's remind everybody, going back to that whole concept of Washington State's long drives, this one started at the 5-yard line.
Absolutely, and that defense has been out there for a long period of time right now.
And they'll blow it down. Washington takes timeout. Needs to figure out this personnel grouping the Cougars put onto the field.
This will also be immediate timeout.
5 minutes and change into the second quarter. Cougars seem to be gaining steam in a scoreless football game, the Apple Cup. First down, Cougars, who have held the ball for 5 minutes and 3 seconds, 12 plays, 67 yards. Tardy is hammered at the point of attack by Wilson Afoa. Jason Hill, one of the best receivers in the history of the Cougars program, sidelined by a high ankle sprain.
You don't think he wants to play in this one?
Oh, well, and what
they had to do everything they could to keep him out of this football game.
What Bill Doba said about this senior from San Francisco, remember, he came back last year because he promised his mom he'd get his degree and also to improve his draft stock, but injuries have hurt him. Brink now looking for Gibson, locked up with Goldson down into the corner of the end zone. That's going to go as an incomplete pass, and Goldson, the students are congregated that corner of the field, and Goldson has a little something for them as well. Take a look at how that one went down.
Yeah, it looks like a little incidental contact right about here, but that's 15 yards down the field. There's no doubt about that. You know, and that's not a call where, because it's not catchable, incidental contact 5 yards down the field should be called without doubt there.
That's the chuck line, is 5 yards, and catchable or not is a consideration in the NFL, but not in the college game. So 3rd down and 10. They roll the pocket for Brink. He sets up and looking for Gibson. Has it at the 15-yard line. C.J. Wallace is injured at the conclusion of that play at the 10-yard line for Washington. A 15-yard catch. Wallace went down hard after Gibson made the catch underneath Deshaun Goldson.
That's nice. They used Dillon to clear the outside. Basically just a straight go route with a corner route and the inside slot receiver. Man-to-man coverage there. Nice job, Alex Brink, getting outside the pocket, moving the pocket, making a good throw and a good catch.
Wallace, the senior out of Sacramento, California, leads Washington with 94 tackles, 10 for loss. This would be a serious blow to the Huskies defense.
Not like they've had enough injuries as it is this year. To lose one of their key defensive defenders, you know, unbelievable.
You've lost Isaiah Stanback. Carl Bonnell is playing hurt. His backup, Johnny DeRocher, has a concussion, not able to go. If Bonnell got hurt, they'd go with the scout team quarterback, Felix Sweetman. And they just got tangled up. There is a replay. Officials here in the press box have asked to look at it so we can determine whether it was catch or no catch, but Wallace got tangled up with his own guy, Goldson.
Yeah, got whiplash, it looked like, with Goldson right there. Just simple man-to-man coverage. Nice little, looked like you're going to the post, push off a little bit there. No call. Gibson comes up.
Basically, Goldson leg whipped his good friend and his own teammate. Wallace gingerly now off the field. This is the first possession for either team in the red zone today. The tail of the ball on the left hash just inside the 15-yard line. Chris Hemphill, who's had a couple of big weeks, replaces Wallace at safety, and Brink will take time. Brink is 11 of 18, 108 yards, so he continues to perform well in the Apple Cup. What he's looking for right now is a finish in a scoreless tie. At the end of last season and the beginning of this, Alex Brink put together a school record string, 18 passes without 18 straight completions. He has thrown 77 now in the last 2+ Apple Cups without throwing an interception.
Pretty impressive.
He can get on a roll. Off play action. Tardy to the end zone. Touchdown, Washington State. Dwight Tardy's 4th rushing touchdown of the year.
Yeah, nice call. Spread them out. Little 3 receivers to the top side, 1 receiver down to the weak side. Huskies come with a soft cover 2 zone. Look like you're going to throw a pass, hand it off on a draw to Tardy. Does a great job cutting it outside with Mr. White chasing him from the backside. Couldn't catch up with him.
Romain Abdul-Hamadi, an injury replacement. Gee, what a surprise. Washington with a 95-yard scoring drive to draw first blood in the Apple Cup. Dwight Tardy in his spare time, a dirt biker, kicking up some ground rubber on the surface here at Martin Stadium in Pullman.
Yeah, kind of ran away from Mr. White there.
Scoring drive brought to you by Dodge. 16 plays, 95 yards, 6 minutes, 153 total yards now for the Cougars. Huskies have 46, and Washington State also has held the ball nearly 14 minutes.
95 of that in that last drive, that big drive we talked about. Tires the defense out.
Marlon Wood will bring it out of the end zone and get to the 22-yard line. Did he lose the football? He has gone through a stretch here in the second half of the season where ball security has been a problem.
A lot of red jerseys there on that.
His father was a standout player at USC.
Again here, great call. Just basically 3 wide receiver set, spread the Husky defense out. Alex Brink, nice job, 3-step drop, looking downfield like it's a pass. Hand it off on a draw to Mr. Tardy, and he takes the rest away.
Washington with its least favorable starting position, and Bonnell loses the football. Has to cover up inside the 20-yard line. Average drive start. The Washington 38 here, starting from the 22 and now back another 3 yards as Bonnell has trouble hanging on to the ball.
Yeah, they just need to find something that gets them in some rhythm, Brian. Right now they're out of rhythm. Last week they're out of rhythm. They're not a good offensive football team. Without Isaiah Stan back there, they are not a good offensive football team, but they need to find a niche, something that's going to help them move the football down the field.
Well, the tight end can help you out an awful lot, and Gottlieb has already in this ball game exceeded his season's total. The sophomore tight end again, straight down the barrel.
Well, you find something, you know, you're a bunch formation to the right side here. You find a tight end comes down there, hooks it up, deliver the football on time. Quick decisions, quick throws, yards after catch.
15-yard play, and in a situation like that, you're going to get a matchup with a linebacker.
Absolutely. They might find the mismatch they're looking for.
Lewis Rankin now carrying the football for Washington. He actually leads Washington with 582 yards on the season, averaging 4.5 yards a carry, but he's had a tendency to go east to west, where James is more a north-south straight-ahead guy, lower the shoulder and try to get the yardage.
Well, most coaches like the north-south guy versus the east-west guy, unless you're going east-west for a long ways. And if that's not happened very often, they'll take the north-south guy most of the time.
But Rankin has had the best rushing game of the season for Washington. Ellis with a great catch. Gets inside Brackenridge.
It's over with.
Cody Ellis off the chain and gone. Touchdown, Washington. 64 yards.
That was just one heck of a catch right here. Ball's thrown behind him, yard or so behind him. He makes a heck of a catch, and then the rest is over with. Mr. Breckenridge is too far behind to make up room there.
Bonnell had trouble hanging on to the football as he rolled out to pass, and then Ellis out of Puyallup, Washington, had to go almost to his shoelaces to pick this up.
Are they reviewing it? I don't know what they're doing here.
That would be the Huskies' longest pass play of the season. Here's Michael Bronstein.
Well, they're looking at this as a review.
What are you looking at? Did it bounce off the carpet? We had a great look at it here
We're looking at it. We're looking at it right now, Brian. That's a heck of a catch. Out of our screen right there. But that's one heck of a. There it is right there.
There it is right there. Right there.
Not even close.
That's as far as it got.
Yeah, not even close. What a great catch and big play for the Huskies.
Game of inches, eh?
Absolutely.
Ellis has become a go-to guy in a season in which at times opponents have been able to cover up the main men. Shackelford, Russo has had trouble hanging onto the football recently. So you go to other players.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You know, that's a heck of a job by Bunnell getting that ball off, but then a great job by Ellis catching it and then turning it into the longest pass for the Huskies this season.
Now we saw Brackenridge cut up field. What was he looking at there? Because he left his man all alone.
Well, I think he read the route, and sometimes on a blitz, you see a receiver cut his route short. You know, as a blitz breakoff, that's their answer to a blitz, is to throw that a short slant route. He looked like he tried to jump it, and in the meantime, you sometimes do that. There's nothing else behind you if you don't come up with it.
Out of Bonnell's hold, Michael Bronstein, the senior from Gilbert, Arizona, with the extra point, and just like that, we're tied in the Apple Cup. Carl Bonnell, just like that, 5 of 10, 124 yards. Hey, it's the Apple Cup, baby.
Happy young man right there.
Dillon has a return, gets outside. Bronstein, the kicker, knocks him out of bounds. Penalty marker is thrown
that
in the other half of the field.
That's offsides against the Huskies on the kickoff.
And it is
Probably
offside.
Penalty will be declined, and Cougars will take the ball on the 35 or 40.
It's a career moment for both Bonnell and Ellis.
Well, Cougars gambled there. They came with an all-out blitz and left the middle of the field wide open.
On the kicking team, 5 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Good return by Dillon. Kara Capuano.
Well, Brian, I talked to Cody Ellis earlier this week, and obviously the Apple Cup means everything if you're a student at UW or WSU, but for the youngsters that are out here on the field from the state of Washington, it means that much more. He's a Puyallup kid. He's got 2 former high school teammates that play for the Cougars, and he said he will not be the guy on the Washington team that gets beat 3 straight times by Washington State.
Thanks, cap off play action. Brink gets a block from his tackle Harris, but is still brought down as he tries to run. Jordan Reffett. Now here's another guy who's got some big-time Cougar Husky stuff going. Reffett out of Moses Lake, Washington. All of his family are Cougars except for his maternal grandfather. Big play here.
Yeah, it's a great play. Again, their defensive line, the quickness, the strength, and the speed of them is what impresses me here, and it's just a matter if the Cougs can wear that offense or defensive line down, and if you go 95 yards, you're going to do that. But they're very active and very athletic.
Reffett playing in place of an injured teammate, Brandon Alla, who is out for the year with an elbow injury, as Brink looks for Dillon again. Fired a little bit behind him and out of bounds. Take a look at how this set up again. Brink's first read was down the middle of the field, so we assume decent coverage by the Huskies secondary.
Absolutely, and Kent Baer's doing a great job at mixing things up, bringing blitzes, dropping zones, and doing a heck of a job.
Huskies win this game. Reffett says there's going to be a lot of people, Cougars fans in Moses Lake, wearing Huskies gear this week. He's the old man of the team, by the way. Married, has a 10-month-old child. Play action. Pass is caught by Boyd, the tight end. Washington's defense fills well and makes the play on Boyd, but it is an 8-yard play out to the 44-yard line and brings up third in a more manageable distance.
Game 7. Scott White, number 4 on the tackle.
Nice job, little fake screen there to the wide side, thrown back underneath to Cody Boyd, and he's trying to make the first down here.
But he doesn't get there. 4th down. Blunt has kicks of 33 and 28 yards. There's Deshaun Goldson.
Heading into the locker room. That's going to be a big loss for the Huskies.
And this one rolls into the end zone. So the Washington defense backs up the offense after the lightning strike scoring drive. 56-yard punt. Arizona and Arizona State all of a sudden got something going. Arizona, good day today at Oregon. Bonnell play fake, hit from behind, and Russo wasn't looking for the ball. Bonnell a little short with that as Christo Bruce hit him just as he delivered the football. Russo, the intended receiver.
Nice job by Christo Bruce coming off the wide side there and getting it to Carl Bonnell before he get the throw off.
First down marker brought to you by Overstock.com. Whether you order a big screen TV or a comfy leather chair, it all ships for only $2.95. Shop and save at Overstock.com. Russo, one of Washington's leading receivers, has not had a catch today. Rankin outside Brackenridge, stepping up to make the play. A minus play for the senior cornerback out of Ontario, California.
Nice job. Looks like Rankin had some running room here. Tyrone Breckenridge does a good job of sealing things, keeping things to his shoulder side, not letting him get outside and get a first or get some yardage where it looked like he had some room on the outside out there, Brian.
Third down and 11. Goldson out with back spasms. Washington minus 1 yard rushing. Bonnell straight into the arms of Frampton, and he has got a lot of room to rumble. Needs one block, and he's going to get it. Touchdown, Eric Frampton in Washington State. Frampton with the payoff. His 5th interception of the season.
That's a horrible call and a horrible throw. Tim Lopano and the offensive coordinator for the University of Washington Huskies, 3rd and long. There's no way you throw 3 verticals down the field against a quarter coverage by the Cougars.
Brackenridge, his first interception return. Daron Brackenridge had an interception return for a touchdown at Oregon. Frampton, the safety, gets another one for the Cougars secondary. 43-yard return. Bonnell's 10th interception of the season against only 5 touchdowns. Through 5.
Yeah, I'm appalled by the call for one. Obviously, as a quarterback, you have the ball and you have to make a decision there. So, but I'm just appalled by the call by the Husky coaching staff on that play.
Wood,
he's gone.
Got a chance.
Bye-bye.
Trying to get around the corner. Gets past the kicker. All the way across the field. Great block is thrown by Quentin Daniels, but Wells comes to finish the play and keep Wood out of the end zone. An 88-yard kickoff return from Marlon Wood.
On the tackle, number 22, Michael Willis.
Wow, Apple Cup, Brian. Here we go.
He gets past Abdul Hamadi, but Michael Willis comes all the way across the field.
Great play.
That's his longest of the season, and Marlon Wood is probably wondering what it takes to finish one of these.
One of the things we talked about in the pregame was the special teams, making a play on special teams. Huskies had to do that because they're outmanned in every other category. Special teams a big factor in this game.
Rankin changes direction, cuts it back inside. Looked to have some room outside, winds up okay. 6-yard play for Lewis Rankin. He's inside the Washington State 10-yard line. Marlon Wood had a 92-yard kickoff return against USC last year. Broke his leg on the play.
He looks like he's healthy here, so
well,
not good for Coug fans.
Talked about ball security. He certainly displayed it here. Rankin cuts outside. Breckenridge chasing, won't get him. Touchdown, Washington.
There ain't no difference on the play earlier where Breckenridge made it for a 2-yard tackle there, Brian. This time he takes a horrible angle, gets beat to the outside. All it is onside, cut back to the weak side, bounce it outside. Tyrone Breckenridge took a horrible angle here. Terrible angle, look at that. Breaks it outside, touchdown Cougar, or touchdown Huskies.
Rankin with his 3rd touchdown of the season.
Nice run there by Rankin.
Still only 12 yards rushing for the Huskies. Bronstein with the extra point, and it's good. This is Rankin's 1st touchdown since the season opener against San Jose State.
That's a good job just by him seeing that the onside hole wasn't there, cut it to the backside. Good job. Awesome job by bouncing it to the backside and making Breckenridge miss.
There are times when it is okay to apply the brakes.
Yes.
But you also have to have good vision. Our Dodge scoring drive, 2 plays, 13 yards after the 88-yard kickoff return by Marlon Wood.
Well, I like how they didn't give up. They're not giving up on the run. They made a big play in the passing game. They need to continue that. They also have to make some plays in the running game, which they did right there.
Now remember, Deshaun Goldson is in the Washington locker room with back spasms as we look at Rankin. C.J. Wallace also left with an injury, although he's back on the sideline with his helmet on. So when the Cougars take over on offense, the Huskies on defense, well, we'll see about the senior safety Wallace, but we know that Goldson will not be there. Here you see on your left Tim Lopano, Washington's offensive coordinator. To his right, Kent Baer, the Huskies defensive coordinator. Bronstein chops this one, and it'll be taken by Jed Collins, who is slowed up and then dropped. But a poor kickoff by Bronstein. Michael Leaves, Billy Ray Smith, DeMarco Farr, who has a rooting interest in this game, I think.
Absolutely. They played DeMarco in St. Louis, and he was a great Husky and a great football player. Had unbelievable quickness for a defensive tackle.
Tardy does a nice job of bouncing to the outside and gaining positive yardage. And yeah, well, there's the answer about C.J. Wallace. He makes another play. Caesar.
Cougs going a little bit of a hurry-up offense here with 1:43 left.
Reffitt also had a piece. Brink looking to the outside. Tardy can't hang on to it. Popped after the play by E.J. Savannah, a nickelback who was on a high school team that didn't lose a game in 4 years, won 4 straight state championships. Well, right into his numbers.
Yeah, you got to make that play. Simple 3-step drop. Or 5-step drop. Going to swing it out, look downfield. Nothing's there. Swing it out to your back. Hit him downhill too, which you should catch and probably get a first down on that play.
Cougars are 6 of 9 on 3rd down. Brink 12 of 21, 115 yards. Off of play action, he's going to go deep again, looking for Dillon. Over his head, Dillon covered, singled up with Matt Fontaine, who has been in and out of Washington's starting lineup, more out than in, but he had big responsibility there.
Well, I think the Cougars with Godshell out, I think we're trying to pick on Fontaine, and nice job by him, but getting back, good coverage. Alex threw it where either we're going to catch it or no one's going to catch it, and you got to give the Huskies credit. Good coverage there.
Darrell Blunt. Low snap, here comes pressure. But Blunt gets it away, a little sidewinder that gives Wood a chance for another return. Gets some blocking. Penalty marker down, though. About the place he made his second cut.
Blocking from behind or illegal use of the hands.
Illegal use of the hands, blocking the back. And so Wood has some of his effort negated. The answer to our Aflac trivia question, the first Washington quarterback to beat Washington State 3 straight times. It is a Hall of Fame answer. That would be Warren Moon.
I did not know that.
Took a while.
That's a,
Started playing, what, 1900?
since 1900. That's about 75 years.
Washington has committed 5 penalties for a total of 45 yards. Washington State has yet to draw a flag. So Bonnell, who is 5 of 12 for 124 yards, a touchdown, and another interception returned for a touch by Frampton. Finds Johnny Curtin, the tight end. Puts kind of a move on Trent, the linebacker. And
yeah, he should have just kept going straight and probably picked up the first down.
You're the line to gain as we move into the final minute of the first half here in the heart of the Palouse.
Had a free play there on the snap, and I think Carl Bonnell realized that, and Crystal Bruce is offsides.
Offsides, defense, number 94. That penalty's declined. First down.
That flag came very late.
Well, he threw it so high, that's why it came so late. It was 30 feet in the air, and by the time it landed, the play was over with.
That now Washington State's first penalty of the afternoon. Nothing doing. As Rankin carries and is knocked back for a loss. Another minus play, so their rushing total was 12 yards. They're back into single digits.
Yeah, I think they'll probably run another draw here again. I just throw the football.
To'atua with the tackle for loss, and Bonnell looking for Curtin. The pass is incomplete.
This is where Carl has to be a little bit careful here. They've played a good half of football. Their team's still in it. He doesn't need to force one down there and give Washington State an opportunity to get some points late in the first half here.
And the wideouts are getting nothing. He's having to go. Curtin, the tight end, he's gone to Gottlieb 3 times. Russo does not have a catch.
And of course, the big play to Ellis.
The 64-yard catch and run. Sort of your off-brands, though. Washington 1 of 5 on 3rd down. Rankin cuts it back inside. And time is taken by Washington State. Doba.
You might see the Cougs come after this kick right here. Good call there by the Huskies and force the Cougs to take a timeout. Keep it safe on the ground.
Doba became the Cougars head coach in 2003. Been on the Washington State staff with Mike Price since 1989. Well, now we talked about Warren Moon. A little bit of his handiwork from the 1975 Apple Cup. They were down 27-7. He was a backup. Moon throws a touchdown pass, and then Al Burleson with a 93-yard interception return. Watch this, we're not done. Moon's pass should be picked off, bounces off or passes through the hands of Tony Heath, and Spider Gaines
off to the races.
Biggest comeback in Apple Cup history.
Well, he wasn't a bad player, that Warren Moon guy.
Oh, he did okay.
Yeah. I think the combination of his yards in the CFL and the NFL is...
How ironic is this? There's a Cougar who gave the former Husky the launching pad for his career when he played for Hugh Campbell in Canada. Yeah. Campbell was the guy that believed in Moon when nobody in the NFL would have Warren.
And then a fellow Coug caught a lot of balls from Warren Moon too, Brian Kelly.
Moon inducted last summer into the Hall of Fame, and it does look like the Cougars are going to bring some serious pressure. Douglas does well to get it off. High floating kick that forces Dillon to go play chase, and it's going to be down by Ellis at the 24-yard line. So Washington State with 3 ticks on the clock. Washington State takes timeout.
Well, I'd be surprised here if the Cougs throw, Brian. I think what they'll do is give an impression they're going to spread the field and try to make something downfield and run a draw play to to Mr. Tardy, I think, is probably the best thing for them. Take it in at halftime, regroup, and go from there.
Well, we go back to your point early. Big plays. So we take a look at Mike Levenseller, Washington State's offensive coordinator, former Coug himself.
Looks like a doctor with those glasses on, you know, Mr.
Well, he's a smart guy.
Either that or his vision's going. He needs those reading glasses.
Oh, come on. You going to hurt his feelings that way?
No, I wouldn't do that to Mike. I like Mike.
Big plays have kept Washington in this football game. Gibson. Well, that's a stat patter as the redshirt freshman E.J. Savannah from Bellevue, Washington.
Absolutely. Safe throw.
Gibson down. So we come to intermission with a 14-14 tie. What did we say? In the Apple Cup, in these rivalry games. Thank you very much.
And it has.
Kenny James heads off the field. He has struggled to run the football. Washington with 17 rushing yards in the first half. There's a rule of thumb in coaching that if you score a defensive touchdown, chances are you're going to win the football game. Washington State has scored a defensive touchdown, 43-yard interception returned by Eric Frampton. But on the other hand, and welcome back to Martin Stadium in Pullman, Mark Ripp and Brian Davis. On the other hand, sometimes there are some emotional intangibles that come into play in these rivalry games.
For whatever rhyme or reason, Brian, these Apple Cups come down to some of the strangest circumstances, and we've seen it all the last couple of years. And here's another perfect example: return almost for a touchdown on a kickoff, and the Cougars intercept a pass and going in, and just one of those Apple Cup games.
Don't forget the 64-yard catch and run by junior Cody Ellis as we take a look at the big picture, the first half stats.
Well, I think the one thing that's glaring is both teams are able to move the football. The one thing Washington State the keys to the game that they had to do is run the ball. You see they're not running it very well. They're making some big plays in the passing game. Of course, the interception for a touchdown that led to a touchdown for the Cougars. The Huskies, one of the keys to their winning was returning, making a big play on special teams where they did with Mr. Wood going 88 yards and setting up one of the scores for the Huskies.
Cougars pooch it, and it's mishandled by Curtin, and then he has trouble figuring out with Marlon Wood how they're going to take care of the second half kickoff. More from the sideline, and Kara Capuano.
Well, Brian, I had a chance to talk to Coach Doba as the Cougars were walking off the field, and you were talking about the defensive score. One thing that could nullify that is poor play on special teams. The Cougars have to shore up their special teams to take control of the second half, and it looks like they're off to a pretty good start there, Brian.
Well, with good field position, relatively speaking, for the Cougars defense, Washington has dominated Cap in that category. We'll get the numbers for you after Carl Bynell sets up to throw on first down, and he misfires, didn't set his feet, misses Kenny James in the flat.
Well, good first down call by the Huskies, and for all intents and purposes had the right play call, just not a very good throw by Carl Bynell.
Now, considering that Marlon Wood's 87-yard kickoff return to the Washington State 13 figures into this, maybe you put an asterisk. Average drive start, Washington its own 40-yard line, Cougars their own 22.
Absolutely. Special teams a big part of this. The kicking game, the punting to Mr. Douglas, Sean Douglas doing a great job pinning the Cougars back.
If you can't run up the gut, maybe you try to run it outside. You spread them, and the pitch to Kenny James. Washington does not run the toss sweep to the halfback very often. James, though, brings up 3rd down and 2.
Well, I think the Cougars probably know that they don't run outside with Kenny James very well, and that was a good call on a good second down call by the Huskies, and give them an opportunity 3rd and short to pick up a first down and keep this drive moving.
Washington 106 on 3rd down in the first half. Bonnell 5-step drop. Bruce with the pressure. Marcel Reese turns the corner, and he's got a chance to go.
He's gone.
Touchdown, Washington. A 64-yard catch and run, an 87-yard kickoff return, and now a 69-yard score Bonnell, or check, yes, Bonnell to Reese.
Yeah, what a great call. You know, 3rd and short, you're probably going to get man-to-man coverage. They ran Ellis and Reese underneath. Great job biding time there by Carl Bonnell, waiting to Reese clear to the far side of the field, throwing it, catch and run. Yards after catch, we talk about it a lot. Caught the Cougars in a man-to-man coverage, got picked. Defender got picked, and he went the distance.
Marcel Reese has kind of been the forgotten man, but oh my goodness, his first major college touchdown gives the Huskies the lead. Talk about big plays by guys you didn't see coming. Marcel Reese has not caught a pass in 6 weeks. Reese, a transfer from El Camino Community College in California, where he was a beast. 6'3", 240 yards. Your scoring drive brought to you by Dodge.
This is the Apple Cup. Trendon Harvey last year.
Precisely.
Marcel Reese this year. You go figure.
Shackelford and Russo have been non-factors in Washington's passing game. Penalty marker is thrown.
Take a holding call.
After a good return by Benny Ward. Ward, the sophomore receiver out of Van Nuys, California. Making the Cougars' field position even less favorable. Big plays, part of the deal. Look at that. Ellis nearly dropped it. Bonnell slipped, and it's all good if you're a Husky fan. Marlon Wood.
Big kickoff return, set up their second score.
He was given 87 yards. He should have gotten another because he started out of his own end zone, but down to the 13. Rankin paid it off.
Marcel Reese here on the underneath, throw under. Catch and run.
69 yards.
2 receptions, Brian, by the Huskies by wide receivers, both going the distance.
And the phrase is yak. Bill Doba well aware of that off play action. Tardy breaks a tackle, has a chance. C.J. Wallace ropes him down with help on the edge from Fontaine. But Tardy, again off that play action going the other way, fake the drop back to pass that handed off 17 yards. Great blocking.
Cody Boyd doing a nice job on the outside there, giving Mr. Tardy a little run there yards after his first initial hit there. Good job by Cody Boyd.
So just like that, the Cougars are feeling it. They scored the first touchdown of this game on a 95-yard drive. Jed Collins holds it in across the 35 to the 36. Roy Lewis, the corner, with the tackle on the play after a 5-yard gain.
Well,
Collins, junior out of San Juan Capistrano, California.
Looks like the Cougs plan the second half here, at least the first 2 plays, is spread the Huskies out. Quick throws, draws, something a little different than they did the first half. A lot of formations. I like the way Tim Rosenbaugh and Mike Levenseller running different people in, using different formations, giving the Huskies a different look every down.
Been pretty much all Tardy out of their backfield, by the way, since we saw Daryl Hutsana early in the game, but Hutsana with the high ankle sprain is always a chancy proposition. Another broken tackle. Tardy knocked out of bounds by Jason Wells, the safety. Otherwise, he was on his way to the house. That would have been a 64-yard play. In any case, it goes for 29.
Absolutely. Good job by the Cougars coming out and establishing the run. Great job by Dillon on the outside, cutting the corner, giving Tardy an extra 15, 20 yards. Good job again by Cody Boyd on the edge, caving the left side down, giving Tardy an opportunity to get outside.
Tardy, 13 carries, 87 yards. Capped that 95-yard scoring drive with the afternoon's first touchdown in the second quarter. Again, the cutback, Taj Bomar, the linebacker, reads it well. Dan Howell is also in the neighborhood, so the linebackers team up to make the stop on Tardy. That cutback has worked well for them, but Bomar, a high school teammate of Carl Bonnell's at Kentwood High School in Kent, outside Seattle.
Good play by Bomar. Onside run, cutting it back to the weak side. As a linebacker, you want to go with the flow. He did a nice job staying home, making the tackle on the play.
Bumpus is in the ball game, slot to the left side. They go the offside. Dillon makes the catch, got the foot down at the 34-yard line.
Good throw, quick three-step drop by Alex Brink, getting it out to Dillon on the outside. Bring up a 3rd and short.
You look at the lineups, and it still seems at this point as if Brink has more weapons at his disposal than does Carl Bonnell. But again, if your defense steps up for you and your special teams work for you and your receivers bail you out, you wind up with a number like we're looking at, 21-14.
Here's the other key, too. The Cougar coaching staff figuring they're outmanning the Huskies. They're going to play man-to-man coverage. What happens in man-to-man coverage, bringing a lot of blitzes, gives an offense an opportunity to make big plays, what the Huskies have.
Bill Doba needs to talk it over. Brink 15 of 25, 149 yards, but he's working out of a hole. On 3rd down and 4 from Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington, Alex Brink looking downfield, and he's got Boyd, the tight end, for the 1st down. Had a defender draped all over his back, but 7 out of 11 on 3rd down. Jason Hill, you want to talk about weapons at your disposal. More touchdowns, more receiving yards than any Cougar in history. High ankle sprain has kept him out, so it's not exactly as if Brink has got a cakewalk going.
There's your vertical game right there, and you take him out of your lineup, and pretty much the Huskies can say, hey, you know, we don't have the vertical game he once had. Great job there by Cody Boyd. He's like a center in basketball, kind of posting up and holding his position.
Brink is looking to the end zone, overthrowing Collins, who was singled up with C.J. Wallace. Dan Howell was coming to help, but that was, for the most part, the strong safeties to win or lose the moment.
I think this is a good route and maybe not the best of throws. I think Alex could have put a little more air under this and given Jed Collins a chance in the corner of the end zone there, but I think the pressure might have had also something to do with it. When Alex Brink was feeling a little bit of the pressure, maybe able to release it a little sooner than he wanted to.
Wallace back in the ball game after suffering an injury in the 2nd quarter. Dillon on the swing pass, got a nice block from Boyd. Fontaine, the quarterback, steps up.
I don't know if he got a good block. He got away with one. I think Bill Doba's been working the sidelines with that official, and he basically just grabs and tugs Dan Howell down right there and doesn't get called. Quick little hitch route here. Cody Boyd right there, the back right hand on the jersey of Dan Howell, and we don't see a call there. That might have been one of those Pullman, Washington calls there that you're not going to see when it's a home team.
Yeah, that would be Mark Rypien, R-Y-P-I-E-N.
Saying that. Can I get
Earl
fined?
Sorgan, the Pac-10 supervisor of officials. Dillon pays it off.
Can I get fined?
They wouldn't fine you. You were the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Give more reason to fine me for that.
Dillon has a 1st down. Came back for the ball after Brink underthrew him a little bit. Dillon has a team best 6 catches, 32 yards.
Yeah, he's performed very well. Big time on 3rd down too. Has moved the chains on several occasions here. Nice job by Alex Brink, taking what the defense is giving you. Trying to hit the corner route. They got a hitch corner in on that one. They took away the corner, but they gave you the hitch on the outside. Alex delivered. 1st down Cougs. Another nice drive.
Washington State is back in the red zone. Brink off of play action.
Touchdown.
Finding Gibson. Well, you gotta hang on to it.
That thing opened up like the...
How about the Red Sea? That would work.
That was the sea I was looking at.
Call him Moses
Caspian,
Gibson if he hangs. Call him Moses Gibson if he hangs on to that ball.
Nice job looking off the safeties. Coming back down to Brandon Gibson down the middle of the field there, and Alex Brink cannot believe it.
Not the guy. Hey, can you
tell
believe?
You know what? That's classy though. He could have slammed his fist down or said something wrong. He said, you know what? We'll get back. Brandon's going to make a play for me later on.
Big drop, and Brink just fires it into the ground. Stops the clock, 3rd down and 10.
Well,
Tardy was the closest receiver too. What'd you see there?
Yeah, great job by reading the screen there on that play. And I think the pressure the last 3 or 4 throws, Cougar coaching staff and Tim Rosenbaugh and Mike Levenseller said, well, let's set up a little screen. But a great job by the Husky defense in reading that, playing man-to-man and not getting the screen off.
Looking at the tackles, a foe on your left, Reffitt on your right. They had 4 sacks the Huskies did against Stanford on the season. 23, 5 fewer than their 11-game total of the season.
They're doing a nice job of rotating guys in and out here. 3 down linemen on this particular play here. Going to bring 5 on the rush.
Brink looking for Boyd, who could not detach from Scott White and Jason Wells, and it is 4th down. Romeen Abdulhamadi.
Yeah, that was a good job by Kent Bear on that one, just bringing giving a totally different look, something that's unaccustomed to the Cougars here. 3 down linemen bringing 2 guys off the edge, 2 linebackers, both defensive tackles, and dropping the nose tackle into coverage. A nice little zone blitz set up there by the Huskies.
Abdulhamadi from Commando Island, Washington, up along the Puget Sound, replaced the injured Lauren Langley against UCLA. 2 of 2 on field goals, this from 32 yards. And he brings the Cougars a little bit closer off of his 3rd field goal of his collegiate career. Still, though, the underdog Huskies on the high side in Pullman. Abdulhamadi has just kicked the field goal to close the Huskies' lead to 4. Curtin again gets a chance to return it. Rumbling, we'll say, across the 30-yard line.
Rumbling, stumbling. 3 down linemen for the Cougs on that play.
Good starting position as Bonnell finds Ellis out in the flat for a couple yards. Good starting field position. Carl Bonnell, not flashy numbers. 8 of 17. Ticked more than 200 yards. Had an interception return for a touchdown, but he's also thrown 2 scores on great catches and runs to give Washington this lead.
Cougars are in a 3 down right now, Brian. 5 linebackers.
Bonnell under pressure, escorted by Evans, the rush linebacker. One of college football's tremendous rivalries in the Great Northwest, the Apple Cup. Hello to our viewers on FSN Florida. Washington at Washington State. The Huskies have lost 6 in a row, but Carl Bonnell and the Huskies have found a way to keep a lead against Washington State as we move toward the middle stages of the 3rd quarter. With Mark Rippon and Kara Capuano, I'm Brian Davis. 3rd down and long for the Huskies. Bonnell stands in now under pressure, goes down. Credit for the sack will go to Ahi Amu, the defensive tackle who has been able to play in only 2 games this year because of a foot injury. But Amu and Christo Bruce.
Just a great push by Amu on that play. And you put him in there and he's healthy, and you got Aaron Johnson healthy, Christo Bruce on the outside, Rapati, and they miss those guys. Nice stop by the Cougar defense.
Sean Douglas, a senior out of Bellevue, Nebraska, just outside of Omaha. And this one does not get off the ground.
Dead ball, false start, offense. Number 34, 5 yards, 4th down.
Howell, the linebacker, got a little bit jumpy. And so Douglas will work from inside the 10-yard line. Cougars looking anxious. Pressure comes from the edge. Douglas angling Dillon to his left and out of bounds into the Washington bench. The 99th Apple Cup meeting between Washington State and Washington. Cougars trailing by 4, trying to win 3 in a row for the first time in the history of a series that started in 1900. Alex Brink handing off to Dwight Tardy. Nearly got out of jail, but then Donald Butler came in to fill. Butler has been injured playing as a true freshman. Missed a couple of games. Made a good play here to hold Tardy in check after a 2-yard gain. He's got 15 carries, 90 yards and a touchdown, does Tardy.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the keys coming in here. The Cougars had to be able to run the football. Having 2 of their top receivers out, Alex Brink, take a little bit of pressure off him. Mr. Tardy needed to run the ball a little bit more. The Cougars need to run the ball a little bit better than they have the last couple of weeks.
Play action to Gibson on the edge, extending across the 45-yard line.
I always get nervous when they extend, because if their knee ain't down and they extend, that ball comes out. I know Coach Doba probably doesn't like it either. A great effort, but got to be smart in a situation like that, and he was.
Matt Fontaine, the senior from Oakland, California. Deshaun Goldson went out of this ball game with back spasms in the first half. Fontaine has been reduced to a secondary role after spending a lot of time the last couple of years in Washington starting lineups, but he has made some plays for the Huskies. 3rd and short now for the Cougars. Play faked, and underneath the coverage of Fontaine, they're going after him. Gibson can't hang on to it. Brink would probably like to have that one back.
Absolutely not a good throw. I don't know the depth of the route, but one way or another, wasn't a good throw by Alex Brink. And you know, that's Gibson's been one of the guys that have been making first downs and moving the chains, but that incident just wasn't a good execution by the Cougs.
So Marlon Wood, who had an 87-yard kickoff return. This guy must have the 2 longest kickoff returns in Washington history in which the player did not score. Lets it go. And they're going to let this one die. 2nd time today for Douglas. Great fake by Wood.
Just didn't get the bounce.
Yeah, didn't get the bounce.
Yep. He needed that thing to jump forward. It was a good fake. He had everyone in the red chasing him, and just a great kick by Mr. Blunt on that one.
50 yards, and it's his 11th downed inside the 20-yard line. Let's go back to your keys to the game. As Doba.
Well, I think one of them, you know, Washington State had to be able to run the football better than they've had the last 2 games. Huskies didn't have a turnover. They turned the ball over for a touchdown. Special teams, Huskies have gotten a touchdown or a great kickoff return on their special teams play. So some of the things coming to fruition. Others need to be done a little bit better. Cougars rushing the ball much better this half, Brian, and they need to continue that to wear down the Husky defense.
They go back to James. He's got a little more beef to him, yeah, and he gets a couple on the play. Washington with only 19 rushing yards this afternoon. Bonnell, his average per completion is about 25 a crack with those long catches and runs.
Hey, we're not worried too much about percentage. Cougs got some heat, can bring some heat. All he matters is a win at the end. That's all that counts. Any of us that play that position know that's the most important thing.
James again, Ropati Patoa from the backside makes a great play to bring up 3rd down and long. Patoa out of Spanaway, Washington. This time with a knee injury. But back today with Amu to give, for instance, and Christo Bruce a chance to wreak havoc off the left side as they have been able to run more 4-man fronts. Washington 2 of 8 on 3rd down. They move the pocket. The blitz is picked up. Gathered in Sonny Shackelford's first catch of the afternoon, and it is a big one for Washington.
And he's a big play guy. Nice job. Nice call by the Husky coaching staff. Get Bonnell outside the pocket. Give Shackelford a time to get down the field. Stretch. He's one of the guys who can stretch the Cougars vertically, and you got to be aware of that. Came back nicely for the football. Good catch, good throw. Big first down for the Huskies.
Bonnell now over 200 yards passing.
Cougars are back in that three down lineman set there that they have.
Tim Lopano on your left, looking over his play sheet. There's the pitch. Rankin gets a block off the edge. Russo could not hold it cleanly. Take a look again at the Pacific Life keys to success. Pressure on the quarterback.
Haven't had much. You know, he's been pressed to throw the ball a little bit sooner than he'd like to, but you need to have, you know, a little bit more pressure. Sacks, 2 sacks by the Cougars. Running the football, most of that's been in the second half here where they've been able to move the ball a little bit more. 2 turnovers with the Huskies, of course, one of them for a touchdown. Of course, that 87-yard kickoff return by
Marlon Wood.
Marlon Wood on that.
5 receivers, no tight ends. Boy, if they're going to bring pressure, now would be the time. Shackelford, gets away from Brackenridge and is very close to the line to gain. And off that spot, he's got a first down.
Yeah, that's a great catch and a great run. Brackenridge smacked him right up in the mustache, but you got to wrap up on a thing like that, Brian, and you can't be able to just come up there and put a good thump on these kids. These kids are strong. Good job releasing the football. Nice catch by Shackelford. Good job releasing, getting yards after the catch.
Shackelford, a team-high 49 catches on the season. He leads them with 7 touchdowns, but only 2 his last 6 games. He did throw a touchdown pass to Russo in the Oregon State game.
Well, I think that Cougs got to be aware of that right now. They haven't done anything. They haven't had to do anything. The Huskies haven't. But usually when you're in the lead, some of these trick plays, you know, where the Cougars trying to get their nose, you know, getting that little nose candy, getting up there, wanting to hit somebody, that's when a big play usually happens.
Can you use a different phrase other than
probably is not the best phrase.
First down marker brought to you by Overstock.com with live customer service and an online best price guarantee. Shopping online has never been easier. Overstock.com.
That's Cougs got to be aware of that. They practice all week, knowing the Huskies at some point in time will have some trickery up their sleeves. And this might be a great time to have it when you got the lead.
Bonnell hits his back foot. Russo makes the sure catch.
That's his first catch of the day, too.
All of a sudden, the wide receivers, the main men, are getting into the act. Anthony Russo, the junior out of Lakewood, Washington, south of Tacoma. Big Air Force base down that direction. Fort Lewis is also in the neighborhood, the Army base out of which many of our men and women who are now over in the Middle East. From Russo's neighborhood.
And this game being broadcasted to our troops.
Bonnell, 5 of 7, 106 yards in the second half. 3rd and short. 3 and 9. Washington on 3rd down. He's going to go for something more. Mark Palida has the first down. The fullback with only 1 catch on the season.
We're seeing everything this game. Well, if you're down to your second, third string guys, they're going to make their first or second catch.
But this is exactly what the Cougars talked about. Scott Davis and Eric Frampton talked during the week about how they didn't know how to game plan this, how to practice for Washington, because out of the bowl picture, the Huskies they could throw out the playbook.
Yep, they can put anyone out there, and you have no idea what they do or how to game plan against them. Very difficult for the Cougar coaching staff.
There's Bonnell's bottom line. Off of play action. There is pressure. Bonnell dumps it down the sideline.
Nice play by Carl on that. Yep, good pressure by the Cougars. The only thing I question is he had a defender. He just needed to step up in the pocket. He's stepping outside into pressure versus stepping up inside. Right there, he could have stepped up inside his blocker and maybe made a throw downfield, but he did a nice job getting outside and throwing it away.
Now, how about Brian Hall and also Mike Grace, who had an interception return for a touchdown at Stanford. Bruce working the other side, and those guys will get chances because Bruce occupies so much attention. Double and triple team. Bonnell, swing past Shackelford, looking for a block from Stanley Daniels, his big left guard, the senior from San Diego. That would be Stanley Daniels, the second, by the way. Gain of 4. 3rd down and 6.
Cougars given a bunch of different looks on the defensive front. I don't know if Eric Johnson got hurt, but right now they're down to 3 defensive linemen. That's what they're playing predominantly.
Daniels, a tremendous example of toughness and desire. Daniels' father was murdered when he was a boy. His mother fell into drug trouble. He essentially raised his brothers and sisters by himself. Tyrone Willingham says, you know, he's lost his edge. He's become a man playing football at the University of Washington.
That's a great story and a great testimony.
You know, a lot of times those things get overshadowed. And there was a guy putting pressure on Bonnell, raising his hands and screening Bonnell and Christo Bruce.
Absolutely, he actually interrupted the throw, and you can't throw it through his arms. You have to throw it around his arms, and in doing so, you throw it behind the receiver,
forcing Sean Douglas and the punting unit onto the field for Washington. Douglas, his last punt was 40 yards. And this one will hang up, and he'll get credit for an inside the 20.
Well, that's the coaching staff. That's what you want right there.
Huskies with a 4-point lead as we head toward the final minute of the third quarter at Martin Stadium. Play action. Gunheim wraps up Tardy just across the line of scrimmage.
Dwight Tardy carried it.
Nice job by the end Gunheim to scrape down off his block. And
absolutely looked like a lot better play than, a lot better design, a lot better hole than actually was, but a great job by Gunheim to cut that thing down.
Tardy, 16 carries, 92 yards. Cougars have only had one 100-yard rushing game all year, and it was Tardy's against Oregon. Big win. It helped Washington State build a 6-3 record. Collins, Scott White is right there. The senior linebacker who leads Washington with 4 interceptions, give him a pass defended. It's 3rd down and long.
Good job here. He's a good football player, probably one of their better linebackers. Chris Tormey is a tremendous coach, and he takes a lot of pride in his linebacking core, and they've played well tonight, and he's done a great job not only in the running game but also defending the passing game, as he made a nice defensive play against Jed Collins.
There's been a lot of talk in Western Washington this week about how happy the Huskies players might be. Boyd is knocked out of bounds. Actually was probably tippy-toeing out anyway before Mesfin Forrester knocked him out. Nowhere near the line to gain. Kara Capuano.
Well, Brian, you guys were talking about Scott White. Remember, Brian, he almost didn't play on the Huskies this year. He was dealing with a hamstring injury suffered in the offseason, took off of practice in August, and thought about not returning after basically losing his starting job. Instead, he came back, earned the starting job back, and he's having a great impact in this game tonight.
Boy, no doubt about it. And again, the trials and tribulations. Here's a guy who now is on his 3rd head coach. But without him, where would they be? And Blunt has it blocked. Touchdown, Washington. Defense and special teams. Chris Stevens with great speed in down and distance as a linebacker cleans it up in the end zone. And this is a 2-score football game.
You talk about special teams. What a great job here. But I don't know if Mr. Blunt here fumbled the snap a little bit, took a little extra time at getting that kickoff, and that's about the 2nd time we've almost seen a block. One was blocked a little bit sooner at the line of scrimmage, but Darrell Blunt looked like he was nonchalant. It didn't look like they were bringing pressure. It just pressure came. I think he bobbled the snap a little bit, which took a little away, and Darrell Blunt's got to get that off a little bit sooner.
Bronstein under heavy pressure with the extra point. You count that one, and just like that, it's an 11-point lead.
Just that slight bobble right there. Just a slight bobble to snap, that fraction of a second, Brian.
There's a reason that Chris Gardocki has never been blocked in his NFL career, because his ability to get the ball away is about a 1/10 of a second faster than most of the punters in the league.
There's a sense of urgency. And I know as a punter, if you're going to fumble the snap coming back to you, there has to be a sense of urgency. And it looked like Darrell just went through his regular routine, but with that, it threw it off just enough.
What have we not seen here today? We've seen an 80.
It's not over with yet, not even the 4th quarter.
We've seen an 87-yard kickoff return. We've seen catches and runs of 64 and 69. The Cougars have returned an interception for a touchdown. We have truly seen everything here today. Somebody maybe throw it at the kitchen sink.
That might be coming later. But you got to give the Huskies credit. They've been on the positive side of 3 of those big plays. And that's what you see right now, a 2-score game, they're ahead. Special teams is the key. I don't think they can match up man for man, but the one equalizer is their special teams is outplaying the Cougars right now, and that's the difference in the game.
Bronstein, another short kick
design.
Taken by Collins, wrapped up, and he gets out to just shy of the 30-yard line. 7-yard return.
Return by number 41, Jed Collins.
And the clock showing triple zeros. We'll turn around and go the other way. But Washington in position to break a 6-game losing streak and drop the Cougars to 500 on the season. Alex Brink on first down, overshooting Michael Bumpus for an incompletion. Some big plays, mostly for Washington in this ball game. That blocked punt for a touchdown by Stevens, the first for the Huskies since the Rose Bowl after the 1990 season.
Wow. Right now the Cougar offense a little bit out of sync. They need to get something going here.
Here's Tardy, ridden down by Scott White. I hate the phrase, throw out the record books, but this just proves the rule as Brink under pressure is going to have to step up and run. Hemphill draws a bead on him, and Brink, that is a shot now. And for a moment, it looked like Brink's right arm went limp.
Great effort by Alex Brink. You could see he wants this one too. The competitiveness in him and getting out of the pocket here, and he knows where the first down marker is. He does everything he can. Again, that Husky defense has been impressive today.
They'll measure. On the backside of that play, you saw 95 White, Jordan Reffett, the Husky from Cougar country, who mentioned that he's married. He even gets it at home. Got home last week, made a tackle near the goal line in the Stanford game. His wife said, you know, if you'd have hit him harder, it would have been a safety. 4th and inches.
Yeah, they haven't put their punt team out there.
Well, at this point, a 2-score game. You're at midfield. Yeah, you give them Washington a short field. Huge play, though. You put a lot of faith in your defense if you don't get this one. Cougars 8 of 18 on 4th down. Washington has allowed conversions on 10 out of 17. Brink the push.
First down.
And he's got it.
Alex Brink with the ball. And that's another.
Now at this point,
that's just mano-a-mano. Tight splits by the offensive lineman. Huskies putting 9 guys, 8 guys in that box there. Good job, good surge by the offensive line of the Cougars.
at this point, you still have some space, but not too long from now, the scoreboard will start to become Washington State's enemy.
Absolutely.
Brink looking for Board. He's got it inside the 35-yard line, knocked down from behind by Dan Howell at the 28 of Washington. The tight ends have been huge for the Cougars this afternoon. 33 yards.
That's a great job by Alex Brink. Play action fake, freezes Dan Howell. Cody Boyd has an opportunity to get in behind him. Good throw, good catch, first down Cougs. Big series for the Cougs here.
Boyd 5 catches, 60 yards.
That just shows you the play action fake will do. Just enough to grab Dan Howell's attention.
Play action, Brink looking for something. He's not going to find it.
Ooh.
And Butler. The Butler did it.
I tell you, Alex Brink is one tough cookie. Dan Howell goes about 225 here, and Alex Brink isn't going to slide. He's a competitor. I question sometimes your smarts in a situation like this. They need you at the end of the game. Great effort. And Howell comes in here and gives a pretty good lick on him.
Yeah, and Butler's in there too at 6'1", 240, and Howell is 6'1", 2 1/4.
About 450 pounds or 470 pounds.
Like a crash test dummy in there. Bumpus, another big catch on the inside slant, and appears to have the first down. No dummy, Alex Brink. He's also a repeater. We talk about Cody Ellis, but Brink was also named this week to the Pac-10 All-Academic team.
Yeah, smart kid. Both these coaches value the education with their student athletes as much as anything else, and that's a neat part about that, is that they're here for play football, be competitive, have a great experience, but also get their degree and move on to life after.
19 first downs now for Washington State to 11 for Washington. Play action, Brink looking for Boyd. It'll contact with C.J. Wallace. Boyd was leaning into the defender. It goes as an incomplete pass.
Yeah, it's good coverage there by C.J. Wallace. Little pump route. He didn't buy on it. Cody Boyd did a little out and up and stayed with it the whole way. Little play action fake, try to freeze the linebackers. Nice job by C.J. Wallace staying with it.
Washington State seemed to lose almost all of its offensive momentum in the third quarter, but has it here in the fourth. Back in the red zone. Swing pass, Gibson looking for a block from Bumpus off the edge. Didn't get too much, but it is positive yardage. And all of a sudden, Brink has thrown 100 passes without an interception, 100 straight without a pick in the Apple Cup going back to 2004.
Yeah, it's this quick swing route here. Try to get something going. Brandon Gibson turning it upfield. I've been very impressed with the Huskies' speed on defense. I mean, they rally to the football for a team for all intents and purposes. Got nothing to play for other than the pride of the recruiting bragging rights, and they're playing hard and they're hustling the ball.
Actually, Bumpus did get his man, but White and Gunheim got over there in a hurry to finish the play.
Gunheim's a defensive lineman.
So third down and long. Play fake. Brink. Good protection all alone. Cody Boyd.
And he almost dropped it.
Touchdown, Washington State.
Brandon Gibson dropped one earlier. Cody Boyd almost dropped this one here. Great job, great call, great execution.
Rockabye baby, the Cougs are back in the house.
Just a little play action fake. Looking to the strong side, coming back weak to Cody Boyd. Nobody there. He cradled that thing and made sure he's going to catch it.
Leads the team now, 75 receiving yards on his 6th catch of the afternoon. And you know, he sank to his knees after he caught that pass. You could almost feel the blast of relief up here in the broadcast booth.
Cougs going to go for 2 here to make it a field goal game, 28-25.
Brink 24 of 42, 230 yards, and now his first touchdown. Collins in motion. They roll the pocket that way. Brink cuts it back to the backside, and do we have it? We've got it. 2-point conversion as the receiver takes it away from the defender. Brandon Gibson. Was covered like a blanket.
What a nice
You want to talk about mano a mano, there you go.
There you have it right there. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to review this based on where he ended up after he caught it. He definitely was in the end zone that came out, but they'll probably review this. Here he is, just kind of sprinting to his right, looking for Jed Collins. Collins is not there, comes back. Nice job. He is in the end zone, dragged out of the end zone. They'll find out whether this is a catch or not. We'll find out in a second.
Jason Wells with the coverage.
But he definitely looked like he was in the end zone, got dragged out once he did make the catch. Whether he had possession or not, they'll take a review and see.
A couple of former Pac-10 officials, Mike Rich and Bill Fetty, here in the press box at Martin Stadium. And they were the ones who called for it.
Here he is on the screen right here. The throw.
Feet
and
down.
He's pulled out of the end zone, so I don't know. It's a hard one to call.
While David Kutaia takes a look at this, Remember, Cody Boyd leads Washington State in receiving today. He led them last season as well. As we take a look at,
there's 1 foot right there. We see the foot right there, and that foot is in play. It all of a sudden it matters where the football is, though, but you can see his right foot in play there. I shouldn't say in play, in the end zone, not in play.
10 plays, 71 yards.
Here we go, one more look at it here.
Seconds.
There's right foot is in the end zone, dragged out of the end zone. Question is, does he? Looks like he has control of the ball there.
As long as the ball crossed the plane.
Now the one thing is, it's a lot different here because they're relying on sources upstairs. The referees don't get a look at it. They're just hearing from their own committee upstairs. Whereas in the NFL, they go to a booth, they go inside the little camera.
Review, the ruling on the field stands. 2-point touchdown.
I think that's a good call.
And in less than 15 minutes.
Yes, exactly right.
Time taken with the Cougars on the rally and back within 3 in the 99th Apple Cup. This is your TiVo game summary. Let's call it your TiVo What a Game summary.
What a games, absolutely. We've seen it all. But there's more to come. Stay tuned.
Bonnell, the former Coug, valiant effort playing with an injured leg.
Just a crossing route, and they got tangled up there.
Alex Brink with his 18th touchdown pass of the season. Brink to Gibson for the deuce.
Great job by Gibson staying with it.
Gibson 18 touchdowns, 10 picks. Can you believe people were calling for his job early in the season?
He's had a great year. And
here's Wood. Return 187 yards, just an eyelash from getting outside. Washington State felt coming into the game that it had to win to secure a bowl berth, but a couple of teams in the Big Ten lost their finales today. Oh, Rankin.
He's gone. See you later.
Louis Rankin.
Oh, he ain't gonna catch him.
Touchdown, Huskies. 77 yards.
We talked about him outside, the speed he has. He's a shifty guy, but you get him outside in the open, forget it.
He does have the motor. Beat Trent. Got a great block from Russo on the cornerback Turner. Brackenridge coming all the way across the field, but he had no chance. Before that run, Washington had 23 rushing yards total.
You talk about big plays, we've seen them all. The Huskies had four of them, Brian.
So it's back to a 2-score ball game. Louis Rankin, his play of the season, maybe the play of his life for Washington. Washington has not had a 100-yard rushing game since very early in the season. Louis Rankin now 99 yards and 2 touchdowns on 9 carries. How about that for a smack in the mouth earlier this year against San Jose State? Rankin busted off one of 68 yards.
Well, you can see he's got some speed, got some quicks. They've scored in the same play both times. Off tackle left, cut it back, bounce it outside, and 2 touchdowns on the same play.
Washington has tried to keep the ball out of the hands of Dillon and Ward, but this time Bronstein kicks away and drives this one all the way to the back of the end zone.
Downwind. Nice little get that driver up in the air and let it go.
Gibson slips past the tackle. Lewis went to make the hero play, and Gibson makes him pay with a catch and run that's going to go for 19 or 20 yards.
Just a quick hitch route on the outside. Roy Lewis try to come up there and smack him in the mouth instead of break down and make the tackle. Here's a good job by Gibson. A little break it inside, slip the tackle and get outside. I don't know if some of that had to do with the turf or what it was, but good job by Gibson. Lewis needs to break down a little bit more.
Stepped out of bounds at the 37-yard line, so it goes as a 17-yard play. Great catch in the flat by Collins. Matched up with the linebacker, Scott White. That's a pretty even match.
Well, that's a, you got to be very sharp with that throw. A good throw, good catch. That's pretty good coverage. That's good football right there.
Collins, he's become kind of a go-to guy as they battled through the injuries at tailback. 3 touchdowns and also 4 rushes and 2 touchdowns as they used him in goal line situations. Brink with a lot of time. Cody Boyd, the ball was just a little bit low. Boy, I'll tell you though, Brink threaded the needle on the play.
Yeah, well, he had to. I think, when you don't have any play action fakes, the linebackers can get so much depth that you have a really small window to throw the ball into there, and the window got closed pretty quick.
Look at their personnel. They got Dillon, they got Gibson, they brought Collins back, sent Bumpus off. They got Boyd on the other side, so double tights. Receivers right and left. Brink under pressure. Gunheim, E.J. Savannah, and Dillon will not be able to come back and catch up with that one. And after the end of the play, the Washington defender, Chuck Dillon, and they were already 3 yards out of bounds, was Dan Howell. He risked 15 yards right there.
Yeah, they're letting some things go here that maybe we don't see all the time, but I think the thing wasn't, the ball was not catchable, obviously, and because of that, I think the referee just decided not to throw the flag.
So the Huskies defense holds. 3 returns, 26 yards from Marlon Wood today. Blunt nailed one.
They're setting return up here.
And Blunt just kind of lets this one die, and it bounces out of bounds to the 29-yard line. Washington with a 10-point lead in the ball, but we've had kind of a track meet here. 9.5 minutes to go. Huskies an underdog coming into this ball game, but with a 10-point lead. Bonnell pump faking, looking for Marcel Reese, has to hold up for it. Great juggling attempt, and they're going to give it to him. Yeah. First down Washington in Washington State territory.
This one will be reviewed. What a great catch. Tip, great recovery by Tyrone Breckenridge. Got beat on the pump fake, and this little pump fake there by Carl Bonnell, and ball's underthrown a little bit.
I'm not sure about that, actually. Well, they're not going to review it, or will they? Now they will.
Here's the replay here.
Does he have control?
He does have his left. Does he have control? Looks like his left foot is on the ground.
His left foot was down, but I'm not sure about the control.
Exactly.
Juggling in,
and control,
out.
Left foot in, but was right foot out when he had control. It's a hard call.
We have a press box view of the play that I think shows his possession of the ball a little bit better. Let's take a look again. Taking a look as Breckenridge. That's a little too far away.
Yeah, that one's a hard one to call, because did he have control when his left foot?
Replay rules. Here we go.
Here it is right here.
Firm, completed pass.
Yep, his left foot was on the ground.
About by the hair of his chinny chin though on the possession side of it.
Yeah, but nice concentration by Marcel Lewis.
Carl Bonnell is doing this in place of that man right there. Number 4, Isaiah Stanback.
What a year he was having, too. 10 touches, 3 enters, 4 and 1. Great leader on the field. That's the one thing they miss, that leadership.
2 tight ends, overload with the wideouts to the right side. Rankin bursting through down across the 40-yard line. Reese, 3 catches, 107 yards. Is having the game of his life. And Lewis Rankin now over 100 yards rushing.
Well, they've come to the wide receiver the second half after no catches except for Cody Ellis's catch for the touchdown. their wide receivers have played a big part here the second half, Brian, making some big plays, catching runs. They'd like to see nothing better than run this clock out, though. Move the chains to get some first downs.
Well, and that's it. Polite, the fullback in motion. And Rankin run to the outside. Scott Davis was chasing him down from backside. Had a squadron there. Bruce was in on the tackle, but from the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, you'd think you'd see more of Kenny James in this situation here. You know, I mean, obviously it'd be great. They'd love to bounce one outside and have Rankin go the distance again, but he kind of stutters in the hole there, and he looks for something to hit outside. Kenny James likes to bang it north and south and get in between those tackles and get yards upfield.
3rd and 7 as Bruce and his fellow captain Scott Davis made a play that forces Washington into 3rd and long. Huskies need time. They have amassed 242 yards of offense in the second half compared to 134.
Over 400 for the game now.
Isaiah Stanback, at this point, the least of Bill Doba's worries. But Stanback against Oregon State about a month ago suffered a devastating what they call a Lee Frank injury, and that's foot and ankle, and it's bone and tendon. But he's feeling pretty good right now. He's got that musical thing going for him. And
well, I think he's here in support of his teammates too, and you know, you can be a leader from different facets of the game, and being on the sidelines, I think, into this game and helping Carl Bonnell out is just a great thing for him to be here.
Well, good football players pass it on, and Stanback, when he became the starting quarterback at Washington, talked to the Heward brothers. He talked to Warren Moon, guys who had been there before, and they gave him great advice about how to be a leader. And he said, I came to understand the quarterback's not just another player.
Exactly.
You're something else, and you know that better than anybody, Mark.
Yep.
3rd and long. Bonnell from the shotgun. Pressure. Oh, picked off again by Abdullah. Hussein Abdullah. With his 3rd interception of the year, Bonnell has thrown 2 this afternoon. Abdullah coming off of an Arizona State game in which he had a career-high 11 tackles. A big interception here.
Well, Carl Bonnell's had a great game today, and a couple of the balls he's forced down the middle of the field, and that comes from experience and just understanding that, you know, when you get in a position like this, you're 10 points up. Let's check it down or throw it away and live to count and come back another day, and he'll learn that from what he's done today, and he'll be a better player for it.
Brink, as everything collapses, and Gunheim registers the sack. Grayson Gunheim, Washington's leader in quarterback sacks, gets another and backs the Cougars up. Something about sudden change situations. The other guys have had 3 field goals off of Washington's last 13 turnovers.
Yes.
You want to talk about rising up stiff?
Absolutely. That's what this defense has impressed me all game long. You know, to be able to make plays. Nice throw. Nice job by Cody Boyd putting his head down. But you're right. This defense has been put in some very advantageous situations. They had, instead of pout and moan, the offense hasn't been able to do what we think they can do. They've gone out in the football field and performed, giving up only 16 points in 15 turnovers until the Cougs scored on their 1 interception early in the first half.
The flip side of that news about Washington is that they had takeaways in only 1 of their last 4 games, but Tardy emotionally.
Oh man, he just put his knee down. Just got his knee down. If he didn't get his knee down, he broke a tackle there and was almost heading out the backside for a touchdown here.
But see, he moves the chains, and that's all. That's one of the things that they've been trying to tell Rankin at the University of Washington.
Absolutely. Here
Get
it is.
the fresh set of downs.
Here it is right here. Just, and up there he put it on the knee, right? The knee on the ground right there.
100 yards for Tardy. Out to the flat is Dillon. Can't hang on to the football.
He was turning, moving upfield before he caught it.
And that's, you know what, and that's Mike Levenseller said these young guys have to grow up, and he didn't mean that in a bad way, but no. The inexperienced players need to learn how to play successful football, and sometimes Levy, you know, It's simple stuff like
catch
that.
the ball,
Don't catch
take your
it first,
4
then
yards.
run.
Yep, take your 4 yards and put your team in a better position instead of trying to make the big play all the time.
Brink finds Gibson for the first down under the coverage of Roy Lewis.
Good throw, good catch. He almost broke that one. That's what you got to do. Make the catch, take a couple steps, spin, then you can make your move outside. Catch the ball first. I think that's one of the things you talk about, and is that as a player, don't try to see what everyone else is doing. Do what you can do best. You know, if you can make a play, that's all you can count on. Don't look at someone else to try to get it done.
Brink has 277 yards passing. Gibson now with 7 catches, 96 yards. Brink is going to air it out for Gibson. Gets underneath Meshman Forrester. Does he hang on to it? He does. Touchdown, Washington State. Alex Brink is spot on 300 yards passing this afternoon.
Nice job. Pressure up the middle there. Steps up. Makes a great throw. Brandon Gibson, who dropped one earlier. What a catch there. Good job, the offensive line. A little bit of pressure up the middle by Alex. Just steps up, hangs in there, makes a great strike to Brandon Gibson. Touchdown, Cougars.
Each side has a 100-yard rusher.
Each side has a 300-yard pass?
And each side has a 100-yard receiver. Abdul Hamadi with the extra point, and we're back to a field goal all game. I will share with our audience that the former Super Bowl MVP Mark Rippon said that we would be in the 40s before the afternoon was over. Now, he wasn't talking about the weather forecast either. And with 6 minutes to play,
there's a lot of time left out there, and we haven't seen. We've seen so much tonight. There's got to be more.
Now, talk about a young guy growing up. He set a Washington State record last year. Threw for 530-some yards at Oregon State, but he also threw a bunch of picks. And he said, "I don't care about the record. We lost that game,
oh, yeah.
and I helped lose that game."
He's a stand-up guy, and the one thing, you know, he's been able to take the criticism and everything else, but he's played well against teams that have been highly ranked. He came in, had a great game against USC. That was a knock on him, Brian, was the fact he didn't play a good game against a team that had an opportunity to go to a bowl game or something like that. And that's Alex Brink has played well against some of the better teams in the conference and in the country. And that's one of the things he's got the monkey off his back and done a great job with this year.
Here's Polita hammering to the 35-yard line. Wow. Early on, it looked like Cal was going to be the class of the Big Ten, and right now, Washington State's defense is the class of this game.
Lewis Rankin.
Another minus play for the Washington State defense.
Haley's doing a little too much dancing. I can't believe we haven't seen Kenny James in here where they need to go north and south. Lewis Rankin made some big runs, but that's a good run right there. That's what he needs to do, north and south, get vertical.
Once again, number 9, Lewis Rankin, target. On the tackle, number 75.
First Down Marker is brought to you by Overstock.com, your online source for savings on everything from video games to big screen TVs. Overstock.com. Washington 4 of 12 on third down.
Big third down for the Huskies here.
3 of 6 in the second half.
Yes, much better in the second half. How about Boise State maybe playing for the national championship here?
Rankin's got the first down, or does he? Yes, he does.
How about Boise State maybe playing for the national championship? I don't know if they'll do it. There'll only be 2 undefeated teams in college football.
Well, yeah.
Ohio State, Boise State.
Then it comes down to that old
Louisville.
Argument.
No, Louisville got beat by Rutgers.
Rob Akey is a bundle of energy at any given moment.
That was a big third down conversion for the Huskies.
Rankin 14 carries, 113 yards. Akey very emotional. He coaches that way, although he's great with his guys. He doesn't He doesn't tear him up. He is real
he's
people.
just a very excited, very people-oriented guy. Players love playing for him.
Rankin tripped up at the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's the one they scored the 2 touchdowns on, was right there. Coming off the left tackle, bouncing it back to the weak side.
Now, Steve Dildine got the finish, but Kevin Koyman, freshman out of Maple Valley, Washington, another West Side guy, forced Rankin to change direction and forced him into the arms of Dildine.
Yes, he did. And that, you know, the Cougars have been playing shorthanded. They've been playing with 3 down linemen. They're not used to that. A lot of bodies injured on the defensive line. And here they are. They're going 4 down. They've been hurt enough in the running game that they...
Rankin puts a move on Turner, the cornerback, and brings up at the 50-yard line.
Put a move. He almost broke his ankle. I tell you, and there's a turf. There's an instance right there where the turf was helped the Cougars out. He put a heck of a move on, cut that thing back inside. If he doesn't go down, he might be down the races, out to the races again.
Bonnell has quickly gone over to the other sideline as we watch Bill Doba. Gets a word from Tyrone Willingham, and then
there's no doubt they'll run this thing down and call a timeout with about a second left. They don't have enough time in the clock.
There's your timeout situation, and now they blow it down.
Timeout. Washington.
Tyrone Willingham had the Huskies at 4-1. It was a pleasant surprise. What do you think he's telling Rankin right now?
Son, we get the first down here, we might run this clock out.
Rob Akey, big call here. Now, we started to say earlier, 2 Big Ten teams that were in position to grab bowl berths lost today and finished 5-7. So with those guys, with the Big Ten now having fewer teams than they have bowl ties.
And I know you'd like to go to a bowl game no matter what, but you don't want to limp in, Brian. I mean, you don't want to lose your last 3 games of the year looking at a huge bowl game and then kind of limp into a game. I know it's money for the university. I know it's great, but this is such an important game for the Cougs to not have to say, hey, we got in because others didn't get it done. We like to get in because we got it done.
2 tight ends. Receivers overloaded left side. Corner blitz is shown from the far side. Rankin straight ahead, and he is stopped short. Well short after a gain of a couple of yards, and it is 4th down.
Gain of 2 yards. 4th and 5. Ball's in 48.
Timeout is taken by the Cougars. So each side now down to 1.
A lot of time left in college football. 2 minutes and 25 seconds with a timeout is an eternity. They stop the clock, you know, and move the chains. You got a lot of time left on the clock, and Alex Brink has been here before, been able to bring this team back before, and he's been able to bring this team back before against the same Husky team. Last year, matter of fact.
Garrett Capuano is standing with a guy who, if he didn't have gloves on, he'd be biting his nails. Cap?
Oh, Brian, I'm telling you, it's been a very animated Isaiah Stanback. How much is it killing you to not be playing in this unbelievable Apple Cup right now?
It's killing me, but, you know, my guys are doing really good right now, and as long as we come out here with a W, I'll be all right.
Are you surprised by all of the big plays that have encompassed this game? It's like every time we turn around, something wild is happening.
I'm not surprised. You know, I was telling guys before the game, I said it only takes one person to make one play. Once that person makes a play, everybody else feels guilty and everybody else wants to, you know, pitch in. So we got to keep it going.
What does it mean to the program to possibly win this game, Isaiah?
It means a lot. I mean, it means a lot, you know, just for your own pride, just get a W against anybody, but especially against these guys. You know, it's a rivalry game, and we need it.
All right, thanks, Isaiah. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you very much.
Brian, he is elated, needless to say. Let's watch this one play out. It's been crazy.
And he has shouted himself hoarse. That is not his normal speaking voice. I can promise you that. And Douglas again blasts one into the end zone for the touchback with 2 minutes now and 18 seconds remaining. Washington State has the football, down 3.
It's going to be a big call here.
Yes, indeed. Holding against Washington.
They might be better off to decline this. This kid can punt the football.
Yeah, Bill Doba. walks out on the field and points.
Holding. Offense number 47. That penalty's declined. First down.
Number 48 yards, caught by Sean Douglas.
Well, here we go. Another Apple Cup right down to the end, Brian.
Tyrone Willingham got a lot of heat in Western Washington over his handling of his decision to send some guys, some fourth-year players off before their fifth year. And I'll tell you what, I've been around that program quite a bit, and you're not going to win over everybody, but you will win over, well, the majority of the guys in the room when you approach it the way that Willingham has. And you look at the big picture, and I think that will prove to be a tempest in a teapot. One of the guys that is not coming back is the man who just made the play, Chris Hemphill. Forrester bumps Dillon out of bounds. That is a first down, and they save the clock.
Absolutely. A lot of time left. All on the 30-yard line. You got to get vertical with a play.
But with Jason Hill and Chris Jordan,
you don't have those vertical stretches as they once had, but you got.
And that has played into Washington's favor in a big way. Not having the vertical threats to challenge that undermanned secondary. Brink finds Bumpus for the first down.
And they'll stop the clock to move the chains, and that's exactly what they need to do. Come underneath if it isn't downfield. Run for the first down, yards after catch. You don't have to. The Huskies right now are playing a very soft cover 4. They're not going to let you get the seams, but they are going to give you some underneath stuff that you have to make some runs for.
Oh, a little low, and Gibson can't hang on to it. But on first down, okay. You still got
a lot of time.
3.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's take a look at our Cooper Tires defensive player of the game. Eric Frampton had the first Oski and returned for a touchdown in his career. Gave Washington State a lead in the second quarter. Brink is hit, and he is going to just throw the ball away, and Stevens got him, and he's going to lose the down on a grounding call.
Yeah, it's a great time for the pressure for the Huskies, and Alex Brink probably trying to make something happen there, but he didn't have a receiver in the vicinity, and he'll get called for grounding here, which would be a loss of down.
Intentional grounding, offense. Lost the down, spot the pass. Third down.
So third and very long. Chris Stevens, he blocked a punt, scored a touchdown. Here in the second half, he is, when they go, sometimes Washington will show you a 52 front, and Stevens will be the rush guy on the outside, and that time he overpowered the right tackle Harris. Brink on a big play. Tardy is stood up and dropped.
It's going to be a timeout by the Cougs here. They're going to have to regroup, and 4th and 14.
Tremendous mow your own lawn. Doba wants to make sure that he's heard. Mow your own lawn defense.
Absolutely. You take care of what you're doing. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Don't worry about what your neighbor's doing. You take care of your own lawn, Brian. And I'll take care of my lawn.
And you have a very nice lawn, I might add.
Thank you very much. It's a little
we
shaggy
have no
right
lawn
now, but
well, this is one of those games where the unsungs, Stevens with the block and the touch.
You're not going to make a throw and catch. You got to throw probably I'd be looking for Michael Bumpus on a deep dig route, clearing it out with a receiver and coming back underneath with a 14-15 yard dig route here.
Bumpus is in the slot to the right side, the near side of your screen. Gibson on the other side, and Dillon on the near side, and Alex Brink goes down.
That's the ball game.
And Caesar Rayford, another guy. Little used, blocked an extra point to save the Fresno State game. Makes another huge play there. The sack on Brink, and Washington has the Apple Cup in its pocket.
You get fresh bodies in there. Great push up the middle. Alex has to step up. Doesn't have help on the outside, and one-on-one got beaten. Actually, his offensive lineman got in his way as he tried to step up.
So anybody who was wondering if these guys were going to quit on Tyrone Willingham, I wonder if they're going to ask that question now.
Absolutely not. I tell you, it's a tribute to the Husky program. Tyrone Willingham trying to get this program back on track. There's been a lot of years of frustration, but this is definitely a big win for them and something very exciting for their program.
2 wins last year. They will finish with 5 this year. And Bonnell, to take even more time off the clock, takes a few steps back.
Got 4 downs. I'm not so sure he needed to go anywhere but 1 step back, and they're not going to have they're not going to have over 100 rushing yards if he does that again.
You know, at this point, it doesn't matter, though.
No, at this point, you really don't care.
The W is the W. 430 yards of offense for Washington. Check that. 382 for Washington, 430 for Washington State. But defense and special teams have made the Huskies winners in the 99th rendition of the Apple Cup. Carl Bonnell, a hero, 271 yards, had an interception returned for a touchdown, but threw 2 touchdowns. And Bonnell, playing hurt, rises up as one of Washington's heroes.
Who'd have thunk? What a game. I tell you what, a lot of people played big. A lot of things happened that made this game the way it was, and you got to tip your hats to the Huskies. They came in here banged up and not with a lot going good for them. Came in here and played a great game.
For Mark Rippon and the gang, I'm Brian Davis. So long from Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington.